Okay, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the public bill hearing for the Prince George's County House delegation for the upcoming 2026 legislative session. The time is now 6:18, and I'm calling this meeting to order. First, we will start with a word of prayer from Delegate Jamila Wood.
Let us pray. Gracious God, we come to you this evening during the season of Thanksgiving, thinking about and thanking you for your amazing grace and for the mercy you've extended to each of us. We continue to pray your mercy upon us as we navigate this difficult and trying time for our county, for our state, and for our nation. We pray for the courage, the wisdom, and the strength to lay down our pride, our prejudices, our patronizing, and our pretentious behaviors, that we come together both arrogantly and intentionally to serve the needs of all people created in your image and in your likeness. We pray for hearts that demonstrate your grace to not just show up in prominent places, but equally in those places and spaces that assure that the least, the lost, and the lonely, the left behind are loved and served in ways that assure their safety and well-being are secure, such that they truly know we are our brothers and our sisters' keepers. We pray for the grace that demands the sacrifice to recompense those whose life-changing harm has impacted their current lives and their lineage. We pray for the courage and fortitude to be those who strive to let justice roll down like waters and righteousness like an ever-flowing stream. This is our prayer, and we pray in your great name.
Thank you so much, Delegate Woods, for those uplifting words. First, I want to lay out the rules for tonight's hearing. For those who signed up to testify on any of the bills on the agenda, we will take those who are listed, who signed up for a specific bill. For each person will have 2 minutes to speak. We do have a timer, so when we say that your time is up, that actually does mean your time is up. We have 32 bills tonight, and we must be out of here by 10 p.m. So therefore, we really cannot allow anyone to go over time. For those sitting in the audience, we ask that you sit and listen. Please do not clap, cheer, or vocalize any comment that you may have about any bill that is before the delegation, or a comment that is made by someone testifying or speaking. If you have a question about a particular bill, you are more than happy to speak with the bill sponsor at a later date, or you can email your question to Ms. LaTasha Coleman, who is the Executive Director for the delegation. To the members of the delegation, you are allowed to ask questions, but you can also speak with the bill sponsor after to members of the public at a later date, because again, we do have to be out of here by 10 p.m. We will take bills in the order by subcommittee, starting first with county affairs, then by-county, then law enforcement, and then education. I do want to take this moment, of personal privilege. I want to congratulate our second vice chair, Kevin Harris. For those who may not be aware, Senator Jackson, who represents the 27th legislative district, is now the superintendent of the Maryland State Police, and so there has been an appointment process for his replacement. Our very own Kevin Harris has been selected by the central committees in both Prince George's County, Charles County, and Howard County to fill his position. And so we are now waiting on the governor to do what he does. Well, I know Kevin is on his way here. He's running a little late, but we do want to wish him congratulations at this moment. After his resignation, we will start the process of electing his replacement. A couple of things. First, I do want to introduce the members of the delegation, and we will start all the way down to my far left with Delegate Mary Lehman, District 21. If you could just say your name and your district. But if you could just say your name and what district you're from, and we'll just go down the road so that everyone here in the audience can know who all is present tonight.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being out here. Mary Raymond, District 21, Laurel, Wellsville, College Park.
Good evening, everyone. Maryland State Delegate Chauncey Martinez, District 22, which is northern Prince George's County, includes the communities and neighborhoods of Hyattsville, Greenbelt, and Carrollton, Edmonston, Orland Heights, University Park, Riverdale Park, as well as unincorporated management.
Good evening. Thank you all for being here. I'm Delegate Karen Cole. Welcome to District 25, which includes Largo, parts of Upper Marlboro, Suitland, Capitol Heights, District Heights, municipalities of Morningside, and the city of District Heights. And I'm sure if I didn't mention, Delegate Walker would be. Thank you.
Good evening, and thank you for being here. Yes, Kettering, Largo, Edgeville, Reverend Marlboro, Cincinnati, and Spring, Clinton.
Everyone, my name is Delegation, and I'm a graduate representing the 2nd District.
Good evening, I'm Delegate Jamila Woods, legislative District 26 in Southern Prince George's County, covering Acton, Fort Washington, National Harbor, parts of Clinton, Temple Hills, Camp Springs, Oxon Hill, and Suitland.
Good evening, I'm Delegate Healy, District 22, happy to be here tonight.
Good evening, I'm Delegate Anthony Harrison. I'm also the Vice Chair of the District Delegation. I represent legislative District 24, Central District.
Hello, everyone. I'm Delegate Diane Mara. I represent the 47th County, also the chair of the county affairs. I represent 8 municipalities that include Flanagan, Redwood, North Redwood, Colorado, Hyattsville, Shelby, Lanesburg, Lebanon Hills. Also represent West Hyattsville, Upper Hyattsville, Bone Park, also Kentland and Lebanon Hills, and then some parts of Sherwood and Westboro. It is very last, but good to see each and every one of you that's represented.
Martin Hall, District 23.
Delegate Kim Taylor, District 23. Delegate Jocelyn Taylor Melnick, representing District 21, which is Three Roses and Aurora.
Good evening, everyone. Delegate Veronica Turner from District 26, Fort Washington. I'm just going to say, what all of National Harbor. That's where I am.
Tiffany Austin, District 24. I see some of our sitting judges here. I don't know if they'll have an opportunity to introduce themselves, but if you all want to stand and wave, here on the ballot. All right, and I forgot to introduce myself. I am Delegate Nicole Williams. I serve as chair of the Prince George's County Delegation, and I represent District 22 and all of the neighborhoods that was recited by my colleague, Delegate Martinez. All right, so as we begin, I do want to remind everyone to please turn your phone on silent. That goes for everyone in the audience as well as all of the members here on stage. All right, so there have been some changes in the county since we last met last year. Our new county executive has nominated a number of individuals to serve in various roles in county government. So we have a bunch of vacancies. One of those individuals who was appointed is no stranger to many of us on this stage, and that is, and we were joined by another delegate, if he would like to introduce himself and say where he's from. So we have someone here with us tonight that is no stranger to many of the members of the delegation, and that is Police Chief George Baker. Chief Baker wanted to greet the delegation this evening and say a few words. So we will have the chief
here to greet us. We will have him back during the regular legislative session as well to brief the delegation on more details about what's going on with our police department. But the floor is yours, Chief Mayor.
Good evening, Madam Chair. Thank you for allowing me to move that very busy agenda, but I did just want to come by and introduce myself to those members that I don't want to reintroduce myself to the members that I do believe in having a strong working relationship with our members. So if you can heard from me in any way, please let us know. Of course, I do have a active English community and we look forward to working with you.
Oh, yes, please, introduce that.
I just heard somebody say it.
George,
Anyway, for those that I do know, services, and for those that I don't know, I'm doing here about the assistant chief here, working alongside the chief. This is a great opportunity. Like working with we're doing a lot of exciting things here, for instance, happening with the work. So, yeah, and
thank you. Okay, also, I want to introduce our legal counsel that is to my right, Shane Bricker, okay. Who will also work with you tonight to provide a summary of each bill. So we are going to go ahead and get started. We are going to start with county affairs. The county affairs committee is led by Delegate Diane Fennell as the chair and Delegate Veronica Turner as the vice chair. And the first bill that we have up is Bill 406-26. We only have one person scheduled to testify. Okay, that would be Jabari. Okay. So Jabari, you can come down and introduce yourself, and then you will have 2 minutes. Sorry. Which is also Jabari. Here we go. For Shorty County Authority to retain the for single increase review back to council to the summary, and then we'll give you the.
Good evening, everyone. Madam Chair mentioned, thank you for the contribution. So you're aware of the summary that I prepared this evening on more of a high level summary, so the descriptions, the details that I will be more specific in the book. So this is PG 406. It authorizes the county to retain or keep a portion of the back to about 10 cents for potential county and for providing useful back to customers. This is part of the exercise county area for what God required. Reverse the payment on
Greetings, Chair Williams, Vice Chair Harrison, and House Delegation. My name is Jabari Cooper. I'm from the County Township. In 2024, Prince George's County enacted a better back bill to ban plastic carry-out bags and required retailers to charge a minimum of 10 cents per each paper or reusable bag. The intent of this legislation was to encourage the use of reusable bags and reduce plastic waste, which has long contributed to litter and environmental degradation of plastic bags. Under current law, retailers collect a 10-cent fee, but none of the proceeds retained by the purchasing county. In contrast, other jurisdictions such as Montgomery and Howard County have implemented revenue sharing models. For example, Montgomery County retains a 5-cent per bag with 1 cent going to retailers, and Howard County retains 8% of the 5 cents with 20% going to retailers. PG 436 seeks to clarify state level authority so that Prince George's County, through local law, may retain a specified portion of the bag to support the administration and enforcement of the better bag bill and related environmental movements. We believe this clarification will enable the county to more effectively manage the program and ensure its long-term success in reducing waste and promoting sustainability. Thank you for your time, and I welcome any questions you may have.
Members of the delegation are ready. Mr. Cooper?
questions? Okay, that's the only individual I have signed up for this bill, so thank you very much. You might stay right here. All right, the next bill we have is PG 404-26, Prince George's County Procurement Process Program Regulation.
Draft local law related to procurement activities, Prince George County School System, Prince George County, $1 million. The authorization is limited to the regulation of that procurement participation in procurement incentives for the utilization of products. County-based businesses, county-based organizations and enterprises, county-based small businesses, and locally owned and operated. Regulations may also be enacted, to establish procurement incentive requirements, goals, and allowance by county revenues and economy.
And we have one person signed up again, Jabari.
Once again, Regis Chair Williams, Vice Chair Harrison, and members of the Prince George's County Council Delegation. My name is Jabari Cooper, and I'm here on behalf of the Prince George's County Council to request and support the PG 40426, Prince George's County Procurement Preference Programs Regulation. This bill authorizes Prince George's County to enact local laws governing specific types of procurement preference programs used by the County Board of Education and the Board of Community College Trustees. At its core, PG 40426 is about strengthening our procurement system, consolidating and standardizing preference programs under a unified regulatory framework within the county code that will enhance transparency, improve oversight, and ensure accountability across all county-led preference initiatives. Most importantly, this bill is a catalyst for economic equity. By streamlining the implementation of preference programs, we can more effectively support small, local, and minority-owned businesses, ensuring they have fair and consistent access to county contracting opportunities. This alignment will foster stronger partnerships between county government and the business community, driving inclusive economic growth across the county. PG 40426 addresses long-standing fragmentation and how preference programs are applied across the wide government. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, Mr. Cooper. Colleagues, are there any questions? All right, seeing none, we will move on to the next bill. Next is PG 405-26, Prince George's County School Facilities and Public Safety and Behavioral Health Surcharges, deferral of payment.
Bill authorizes the Prince George's County Council to payment of the school facility surcharge, public safety and behavioral health surcharge, and rebuilding and construction. Bill on inspection, issue of some use option to complete it, program first.
And we have several people signed up for this bill. We'll start with Mr. Cooper, and then I have listed Amy Olivo, Robert Etten, and Felton Moss.
Again, Regis Chair Williams, Vice Chair Harrison, and members of the Prince George's County Council Delegation. My name is Jabari Cooper, and I'm here on behalf of the Prince George's County Council to respectfully request the support of PG 40526, Prince George's County School Facilities, Public Safety, Behavioral Health Surcharges, deferral of payment. This bill amends Article 17 of the Public Local Law of Prince George's County to allow the county to defer the time of payment for the school facility surcharge and the public safety and behavioral health surcharge on new residential construction. Currently, these surcharges are paid at the time of building permit issuance. Set on the beginning of the project. This bill will authorize the county to defer payment until one of the following: final inspection of the new construction, issuance of a use and occupancy permit, or closing of the first sale after permit issuance. I want to emphasize that the intent of this bill is not to reduce government rules, but rather to provide greater flexibility and certainty in the development process, ultimately helping to spur more residential development. This bill also clarifies that surcharges may not be construed to get settlement costs, ensuring it remains developer responsibility and does not pass on to home buyers. Thank you for your time and consideration.
We'll have all of the individuals testify, and then we'll take questions at the end. So next, I have Ms. Olivo.
Good evening, Chair Williams, Vice Chair Harrison, and members of the House Delegation. My name is Amy Olivo, and I'm proud to represent District 4 on the Prince George's County Board of Education. State law dictates that the Board of Education must hold an annual meeting on the first Monday of December. my fellow board members are sorry they can't be here tonight, but I am here to represent all of us. We are concerned about this legislation. We absolutely applaud the intent of increasing economic development in Service County. However, we are concerned that the unintended impact of the legislation will cause uncertainty in our budget timeline for school construction projects. We understand that there are challenges with DPI and urge the county council and county executive to handle those issues with DPI without necessarily deferring these surcharge payments. Thank you.
Thank you. And next we'll have Bob.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Robert Etton, I'm testifying that I'll be speaking on behalf of the Maryland Building Industry Association, which is the statewide trade association whose members that build homes throughout the state of Maryland, including the county. We have a letter of support for the bill from the association in your packet. We're strongly in favor of this bill. Montgomery County enacted this legislation in 2024. We've seen no negative consequences whatsoever from that enactment. So what it does is it allows the county governing body to decide whether or not this money should be paid at the time that the initial permit is issued, or should it be paid at some later date depending on the circumstances. Right now, it takes anywhere from 2 to 5 years before you get to use an occupancy permit, depending on the scope of the project, depending on whatever issues pop up. And that money is, if you figure it's maybe an average of, $20,000 to $30,000 per house. If you have, say, a 50 or 100 unit building, that's a tremendous amount of money. And there's no set date from the contractor is going to be able to start to sell those homes. So the contractor says those homes to be sold, and it's also in the county's best interest. So this is merely enabling legislation which will enable the governing body to allow certain sectors to have that money paid in the initial permit is issued. So for these reasons, we do support the bill. As you have our written testimony, there's a couple suggested technical amendments, but we really do hope that we'll pass the bill. I would just say, I'm sure you all do. The day doesn't go by that I don't read Maryland Matters, one of them, and I'll finish up. But housing is one of the biggest issues that we're facing in the state of Maryland. This will facilitate that.
Thank you. I also have Felton Moss, but I think Mr. Lebo, you mentioned he's at the school board meeting right now. Okay. So those are all of the individuals I have signed up for this particular bill. Are there any questions? Yes, Delegate Tavares.
Thank you, Madam Chair. To any other county?
Oh, Delegate Tavares first, and then I'll come to you, Delegate.
No, I'll defer to you.
Delegate Tavares.
Mr. Ensign, my question is whether any other counties have a law like this.
Yes, Montgomery enacted in 2024. We've not experienced any problems or concerns since then.
So that's the only other county that's just.
As far as I know, yes, but I think we're going to see more of them in the future.
Thank you.
Delegate Tavares.
Quickly, the issue that when we sold it 20,000, that's in the south part of the county, and my understanding is that we're part of control development. So in the south versus in the northern part of the county, which is 6,000. So if there is a type of market where we're building within the incorporated versus outside, because it's sprawling. Does that need to be taken up?
Who's that question directed to, Delegate? Who is that question directed to?
Well, obviously,
Thank you, for your question. We'll take this into back and I will make sure to address
And for, just as a point of information, for the people who are listening live stream, it's really hard for them to hear the audio. So if you could speak well into the microphone, that even goes to the people in the audience. Just so that the folks who are watching the live stream can hear everyone clearly. Thank you.
Delegate Fidel.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My question is for Amy, reference to, has it been a reference to, you said that the school board has resolution, can you tell me what is that?
Sure, thank you. Yeah, thank you, Delegate Pinello. So we are concerned about how this could impact our timeline and budget for school construction projects. And we would absolutely love to collaborate with the county council and the delegation to better understand and mitigate any of those concerns.
Okay, thank you so much.
And Chair Pinion.
Thank you so much. So my question is, how much money are we talking about? Could you elaborate on that, please?
Once again, Jabari from the Prince George's County Council, I can't speak with any certainty at this moment, but maybe the fiscal statement comes out, we can provide a little more, kind of more context to this, but at this moment, I don't have any estimation.
Do you know what the per unit charge is? Is there one?
Once again, I can't, I don't have it.
I understand, okay, thank you so much.
Next, Delegate Holmes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And this question might be best for my question is in terms of the time frame that it currently takes where these funds are paid in advance and how long it's going to go before a construction can start.
Thank you, Delegate Holmes, and that's something that we can maybe iron out and maybe discuss with the bill. We can put something parameters for afterwards, as we speak to it, and all the organizations, but sure we have more certainty on that.
I would appreciate, thank you, Madam Chair.
Any other questions? Delegate Taylor. Delegate Taylor.
Maybe the question is better for Mr. Income. Can you give us an example of, let's say, how many unit building that you mentioned in your testimony? How much was that?
I'm sorry, could you speak a little louder?
You mentioned a scenario where it's 100-unit building. Essentially, can you give us an idea of what does that mean in terms of the cost of the building?
My information on things is that the cost range anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000, $20,000 to $30,000.
Per unit?
Pay at the time.
Is that per unit?
Yeah. That's my understanding.
Delegate Turner.
Okay. Can someone answer this question for me? How long can surcharge payment be deferred under this proposal?
Yep, I think that's
I did, at the current stage, I do not believe that there is any language that provides any to answer that question, that there's no certainty in language with that, but that's something that I'm happy to work with Google to provide some extra level of certainty that has, a timeline type of language in the bill.
Thank you.
Delegate Holmes.
Thank you. Hi.
Hello.
What is the county's plan to deal with the deficit of behavioral health facilities and our budget deficit as it relates to overall public safety? And how will define these charges negatively impact that?
Once again, this is just adding more certainty to the development process and how the county deals with budget crisis. Whether it's something else, I think I'm not looking to speak to at this moment, but we're definitely trying to address the whole concerns of the county and providing more level of certainty to this project.
All right, we're gonna wrap it up shortly, but I need Delegate Martinez again. Oh, question, you have a question?
Yeah, Ms. Cooper, I think that I would have to, um, maybe challenge the certainty, because we're talking about a deferral and there's no certainty as to when. So we can't necessarily have, I think the terminology that you use, the certainty, if we're deferring. There's a number of concerns that have been expressed between the school board and many here in the delegation, trying to deal with the deficit that we have and ensuring that we have what we need for all of our schools and facilities. And by deferring payment for the surcharges, especially because there is no specificity in the bill around it, that causes a little challenge for us to kind of grasp.
Thank you, Delegate Harrison. I would just like to say that this is it's enabling legislation, so the county council can maybe put that function to provide some more clarity for that.
I see Delegate Martinez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And this is for the council of representatives. But I guess my question is around just the genesis of this bill. Is it just so that people that are trying to provide a pipeline for housing can have a better conversation with like funders and banks around these projects coming in?
I would say that that is the intent, is to allow, just provide more certainty for development and have consistency with knowing how much projects cost and having, to your point, having the financing of the project and those sorts of things.
Okay, it sounds like we might just need to work on this one. So we'll move on to the next bill. Next, I have PG 406-26, which is the Prince George's County termination of gas or electric service for multi-family dwelling units notification. Council?
The bill requires a public service company to notify certain elected officials prior to any termination of electric or gas service in certain multifamily dwelling units located in the county. Multifamily unit must have service provided through a master meter or something. Additionally, the company must receive consent from the customer and tenant that will receive timely notification. The notification must be sent to each elected official representing the district or the multifamily unit.
I only have one person signed up for this bill. Oh, Mr. Cooper.
Sure.
Greetings, Chair Williams, Vice Chair Harrison, members of the Prince George's County Delegation. My name is Robert Cooper, here testifying in support of PG 40625, termination of gas or electric service for multi-family dwelling units notification. This bill proposes an amendment to Public Utility Article Section 7-307, 3 to establish a Prince George's County specific notification requirement when a utility intends to terminate service for non-payment at a multi-family dwelling unit. Specifically, the bill requires a public service company or utility to notify each elected official representing the district where the affected unit is located prior to termination. While current law allows for third-party notification to property owners or managers with customer consent, this bill adds a local notification layer to ensure that county elected officials are also informed when service termination is imminent for a multi-family dwelling unit. The intent of this legislation is to increase transparency and enable early intervention in situations where tenants are paying utility costs to a landlord or property manager when utility bills are not being paid. This bill aims to reduce the number of residents at risk of losing essential services due to circumstances beyond their control. We believe this measure will help protect vulnerable households and support proactive engagement by local leaders. Thank you for your time and consideration. I welcome any questions.
Thank you. Are there any questions from Mr. Cooper? Seeing none, we'll move on to the next bill, which is PG 407-26, Prince George's County Property Tax Credit, new business.
The bill authorizes Prince George's County to establish a property tax credit for new business that creates 10 or more full-time jobs and industry targeted for expansion by the county, Prince George's County Economic Development Corporation. The bill states that the purpose of the tax credit is to encourage the location, development of businesses, and expansion of employment opportunities. Tax credit may not be granted for more than 10 years. The county is to set the amount, the duration, eligibility criteria, procedures for the application and processing of the tax credit request.
Okay, I have one person signed up for this one as well, Mr. Cooper.
Bypass my introduction to keep this, make this go a little bit faster. Here on behalf of Prince George's County Council, requesting your support for PG 40726, Prince George's County Property Tax Credit and New Business. This legislation empowers the governing body of Prince George's County to stimulate local economic growth by offering a targeted property tax incentive to new businesses. Under the bill, the county may enact a law granting a property tax credit on county-imposed property taxes for businesses that are, one, newly established in the county, and two, that significantly contribute to local job creation. To qualify, a business must create at least 10 full-time jobs and operate within an industry specifically identified by the Prince George's County Economic Development Corporation as a priority for strategic expansion. By linking the tax credit to both job creation and targeted industries, this bill aims to attract companies that can strengthen the county's economic base and advance its long-term development goals. Overall, this bill is designed to encourage business growth, attract new industries, and expand employment opportunities in Prince George's County through strategic use of property tax incentives.
Are there any questions for Mr. Cooper? Okay. All right, next we will move to PG 40826, property taxes, special rate for vacant and abandoned property, Charter County tax limitation.
Under existing law, the governing body of the county or the mayor and city council of Baltimore City may set a special property tax rate for vacant lot or improved property that is cited as vacant and unfit for habitation or other authorized use on housing or building violation notice. The bill provides that in the exercise of this authority, the county may set a special rate that results in a higher property tax rate with collection, more property tax revenues than authorized under a county structure. The bill applies statewide to any county with an applicable tax limitation.
I have one person again signed up, Mr. Cooper.
Once again, for the record, my name is Jabari Cooper, and I'm here on behalf of Prince George's County Council to respectfully request the support of PG 40826, property taxes, special rate for vacant and abandoned property, Charter County tax limitation. PG 40826 is a statewide enabling bill that authorizes the governing body of any county, particularly Charter County, such as Prince George's, to set a special property tax rate on certain vacant and abandoned property. Under current Maryland law, counties are required to adhere to a single general property tax rate and may establish rates with only the interest rates that are required of them. This bill would amend tax property section 6-302C to explicitly allow counties to impose a higher tax rate on a vacant lot, or property that is vacant and unfit for habitation or authorized use on official housing or violation notice. PG 40826 also provides any tax revenue generated by this special rate beyond the limit set by the county charter and be deposited to the county's general fund. To be clear, this bill does not raise taxes on homeowners or occupied properties. Its purpose is to give the county clear legal authority to implement a targeted tax rate on vacant and abandoned property. It also provides the county with greater flexibility to manage the program effectively and to address the life of the community. Thank you for consideration.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Mr. Cooper? Yes. Okay, yes, Chair Padilla.
Thank you, Chair. Good evening. And thank you for hot seats. So my question to you is, do you know any other jurisdictions that do this? Any other states, any jurisdictions nearby us?
That allow for us to charge a special tax. Well, this is a state law for hospitals too, 2024, that other jurisdictions of the state are currently doing this.
Other states?
But other states, oh, I'm not aware of those.
I think Virginia does it, in DC. And then also, do we know how much money does the county spend on some of these properties when they have to clean them up, right? And if you don't, you can give that to us offline, but I understand that it's a lot of money and a lot of effort.
Correct, and I believe, yes. So I'll provide that information to you offline.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Nope, okay. Okay, next we will go on to PG 412-26, Prince George's County Supplemental Homeowners Property Tax Credit Required. We will go to council, and I think this is Delegate Roberts' bill.
The bill requires Prince George's County to grant a property tax credit to supplement credits issued under the existing homeowners property tax credit program. Supplemental credit could be the total of your property tax to the home less than percentage of combined income of homeowners based on statutory standards. A homeowner is not eligible for homeowners who combined net worth exceeds $200,000, if the combined gross income exceeds $75,000, where the credit under the existing statewide program receives the supplemental credit. The county may not reimburse or request reimbursement from the state for the amount of the supplemental credit and is responsible for the reasonable cost of administering the credit.
Delegate Roberts.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Today, we provide you with seniors 65 and older, living on limited and fixed incomes and existing higher property taxes to measure margins, access to tax supplement for the home. Lifting the income threshold from 60,000 to 75,000, raising the allowable net worth from 200,000 to 250,000, increasing the maximum eligible assessed property value from 300,000 to 375,000.
And we have one person who is signed up to testify. I have Christina Cross.
Thank you so much to the Honorable Chair, as well as Vice Chair, and to the delegates for bringing this bill to the floor. We do ask you to continue to support, and do humbly ask that you will pass and endorse this bill with flying colors. One of the key things that we do know is that in this current state of affairs, not only at the federal level, but at the state level, a lot of people are finding it hard to not just pay for their houses, but the baseline necessities. The need for this bill is great across our county. As we're looking at the combined net worth of about 200,000, then that falls right in line with the federal government's retirement high three here across the state, and particularly with a lot of those members that have been federally retired here, single income. So I thank you so much for bringing this bill. I ask that you humbly support it. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions for the Bills Council or for any of the speakers? All right, seeing none, we will move on to PG 419-26, Prince George's County Income Tax Credit for Employers Providing Parental Engagement Leave.
The bill authorizes employers and Prince George's County from the state income tax credit if the employer provides certain parental engagement leave, qualifying employees for tax relief. Parental engagement leave is leave away from work that predominantly allows employees to attend school-related meetings and events at the school and the student of the qualified employee is employed. Qualified employee is a parent or legal guardian of a student who attends school at a public or non-public elementary or secondary school in the county. This is a certificate tax credit program. The amount of tax credit is based on the hourly wage rate of the employee and the number of leave hours used. It may not exceed $800 per employee.
This bill is sponsored by Delegate Long, who unfortunately is not able to make it here tonight. Colleagues, we've had this bill before us before. I know in previous years, Delegate Long has stated that the impetus behind this bill is to try to encourage more parents to be able to take time off of work so that they can attend various activities related to their children, especially during the school hours. There are a lot of times where there are events taking place at school while a parent may be at work that the parents would love to attend, but unfortunately do not have the means to do so. So that's the emphasis behind the bill. Colleagues have any questions? Okay, hearing none. We will move on to PG 420-26, Prince George's County income tax credit for parent and guardian volunteers in elementary and secondary school.
The bill authorizes an individual who is the parent, legal guardian, of a student, and public development at primary or secondary school in the county to spend state income tax credit for volunteering at the state school. The certificate tax credit program requires the eligible taxpayers to obtain tax credit certificate from the applicable county board member or school administrator as specified in the bill. An eligible taxpayer will receive a credit of amount of $20 for each hour volunteered, up to a maximum of $500 per year.
This bill is also sponsored by Delegate Long, who unfortunately cannot be here this evening. Colleagues, I think we've had this bill in previous years, and we have been consistent to encourage parents to volunteer in different school and scholastic activities as well as other extracurriculars with their children in elementary and secondary. And that's it. Seeing none, we will move on to the Bi-County Committee. The Bi-County Committee is chaired by Delegate Chris Valdemama, who unfortunately cannot be with us tonight, as the Vice Chair is Vice Chair Delegate Henry Harrison. So first, we will start with NCPG 102-26.
The bill repeals the name of the Washington Suburban Sanitary Commission Office of Supply Diversity and Inclusion and authorizes the commission to close the office. The bill also alters the purpose and duties of the office and further alters the local small business enterprise program to include local small businesses and certain public entities. Finally, the bill authorizes the commission to accept as a registered vendor any person that is registered as a vendor with an active jurisdiction or as self-certified as a vendor in accordance with regulations adopted by the
Thank you. And this bill is sponsored at the County Delegation, and so I see Kiana Harley is who I have signed up, but Kiana, sorry, I apologize, sir. Mr. Harley, if you have 2 minutes.
Good evening, Chair Williams, Vice Chair Harrison, Harris, delegation members. My name is Kiana Harley, and I serve as the Director of Supplier Diversity and Inclusion at WSCC. I appreciate the opportunity to testify in support of PG and C102-26, which makes targeted enhancements and updates to WSSC Order Procurement Statute, modernizing several administrative provisions to expand opportunities for small, local, and government business participation in vendor registration. WSSC Order is advancing a vision of sustained and transformative change to strengthen the systems that support essential water and wastewater services for the nearly 2 million residents who depend on us every day. This bill is a practical and essential part of that work, and that it seeks to modernize our business participation framework, which will allow us to better support the ecosystem of small local businesses that we rely on to operate, maintain, and enhance nearly 12,000 miles of critical infrastructure. This bill proposes 4 statutory amendments to existing law, many of which came directly from vendors through surveys, outreach events, and industry consultations. First, clarification of OSDI's duties and authorizes WSSC Order to update the office's name through regulation in the future if necessary, to align its title with its mission, purpose, and expanded scope. Any change would require the approval of WSSC Order's commissioners. Secondly, modernization of vendor registration by allowing WSSC Order to authorize self-certification and recognize vendor registrations from other public agencies, reducing duplicative steps for businesses. Please be assured WSSC Order will ensure that our standards and those of the state and local levels of government we serve are not compromised in this process. Third, clarification regarding OSDI's responsibilities for administering business participation.
Thank you. Sure, are there any questions for Mr. Harley? Delegate Taylor. Thank you, Madam Chair. And first of all, I'd like to note that District 22 is Mr. Harley. Can you finish what you were about to say?
Fourth, the legislation would update the small local business enterprise framework by authorizing the USSD to adopt local small business size standards to support local small, better known, and regional businesses using preference to authorize. And the last thing I'd like to say is for further consideration, the scale of economic activity that this bill supports is significant. Prior fiscal year, WSSC would have delivered nearly $300 million in direct payments to businesses. Of that total, $178 million to local businesses in French stores and counties.
Delegate Tavares.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Delegate Tavares, and the question I have is, what was the outreach like? What did that look like for the small businesses? I'm a member of the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce in Prince George's, and I don't recall that coming across them.
So over the course of the last fiscal year, we had, I think, 38 events, varying different events in regards to outreach. This fiscal year, we've had 16, so that started on July 1st. In fact, tomorrow we have a business outreach event at the University of Maryland, so a lot of that outreach is through our website, social media, things like that.
Was any Spanish language outreach?
I don't recall over the past fiscal year, to be honest with you, I'm new to the role, been in the role for the past few months. So I'd have to do some research to see what some previous outreach have been doing. I do know that we have, one of the counties, for example, we recently, to the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce,
Thank you. Open up for the conversation.
Okay, next Vice Chair Harrison and then Delegate Roberts.
Thank you, Mr. Harley. And it's not so much a question as it is a statement. I've been around for a little while, and WSSC has not necessarily had a great track record of supporting and hiring, contracting with small, local minority businesses in the past. And so, as we move forward and, with the change of climate that we're in now, I want to keep before you and WSSC to remember that there are small, minority, local businesses that are capable of doing work with WSSC.
Next, Delegate Roberts. Thank you, Mr. Harley. I just had a quick question. Out of the $300 million.
Can you speak further into the microphone, Delegate?
Okay. Out of the $300 million, you said $178 million has been spent in businesses between Montgomery and Prince George's County. Do you know how much has been spent with Prince George's County out of the $178?
I'll have to get back to the specific number, but I do know it's over $100,000.
You said it is over $100 million? So then, whatever was spent in Montgomery would be less than $100.
That's correct.
And also too, when you, Mr. Harley, when you provide that information, if you could provide a breakdown of how many of those businesses are minority-owned businesses and also women-owned businesses, I think that would be very helpful as well.
Sure.
Any other questions, colleagues? All right, next we will move on to PGMC 104-26, Washington Suburban Sanitation Commission, Personnel Management, Disciplinary Action.
The bill requires the Washington Suburban Sanitary Commission to take certain actions for suspending or removing an employee of the commission. It also provides the commission, subject to an exception for suspension without penalty, may take disciplinary action not later than 30 days after the commission requires knowledge of the employee's suspension. Additionally, an employee who is suspended without pay for disciplinary purposes may appeal to the Maryland Office of Administrative Hearings. And finally, Office of Administrative Hearings is required to dispose of the case or conduct a hearing, issue a final decision.
And this bill is being sponsored by Delegate Eric North from Montgomery County, who is with us here today. So if you want to introduce yourself, and you have 2 minutes.
Yeah, if you talk about the please, I want to be fair. Good evening, Madam Chair, oh, sure. Is that okay? Okay. Good evening, Madam Chair, and my distinguished colleagues. Representing the Prince County Delegation, I'm Delegate Bernice American North, representing District 14 in Montgomery County. And thank you for the opportunity for me to testify on PGMC 104-26 and the disciplinary actions with the Washington Sanitary Commission, also known as WSSC. This bill really seeks to provide greater clarity, fairness, and consistency in the discipline process, especially with respect to suspensions. Currently, WSC employees who are terminated already have the right to appeal their termination to the Office of Administrative Hearings, but current suspensions do not have that same independent review, despite the seriousness and negative consequences on the lives of employees. Additionally, the steps WSC must take before imposing the discipline are not explicitly spelled out in current law, and the timelines are unclear. So this bill essentially addresses that. It's going to require the team to take certain steps before taking any disciplinary action, and it's accountable to a lot of what some other state government employees already have the ability to exercise. This bill is going to establish firm timelines. It's going to provide general disciplinary action that will be posted in 30 days after the learning of the alleged conduct, and actions to be taken for those suspended without pay. Action must be taken within 5 workdays at the close of the employee's next shift. And it's also, as I alluded to earlier, it's going to allow employees to appeal the suspensions to the Office of Administrative Hearings. I would note that WC and I have been in communications about the bill. I represent have a position on the bill, so we continue to work with them to try to find a resolution to this. And I also would note that after we do here, after Maryland Council 3 and the Teamsters Local 639 are both in support of the bill. So with that, I ask for your favorable report on PGMC 104-26. Thank you.
Thank you. And I do believe, we have a couple people signed up to testify on this bill. I have Christian Goble. If you want to make your way down, followed by Marcus Wilson.
Good evening, Chair Williams, Vice Chair Harrison, members of the delegation. My name is Christian Goble. I'm with Aspen, Maryland Council 3. Our council represents approximately 50,000 public employees across the state of Maryland, and we are very proud to represent hundreds of workers at WSSC, some of whom are here this evening. I think Delegate Miracle North did a great job outlining what this bill does. I do want to emphasize why this is so important to our employees. Again, the delegate alluded to what the consequences are for employees when they are suspended. Under current state law, they may be suspended for up to 30 days without pay. So they could go losing 2 paychecks. And right now, under the current system, in their grievance procedure, if they want to challenge a suspension that's been issued by management, the review of that goes to management. It stops at step 3 in their grievance procedure. That is reviewed by a department head or director. And that's what this bill is seeking to do. It's trying to give our members a fair opportunity for an impartial review when a suspension has been issued. And again, as the delegate also alluded to, these standards also exist for our state employees that we represent across the state of Maryland as well. Again, our union is in strong support of this legislation. The Teamsters are also in support of this legislation, and we ask for your support. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Mr. Wilson. Hold on 1 second again, reset the time. Okay,
Good evening, Chair Williams and members of the Prince County Delegation. My name is Marcus Wilson. I am a technician at WSSC. I'm a current acting local 2898 executive board member and the former president of this local. Asking local 2898 workers perform most of the hands-on critical work here for WSSC that we build, operate, maintain, and repair the system to make safe drinking water and reliable sewer management, reducing the environmental impact to our communities. We're here tonight, and I have my executive board here with me. We're here tonight asking for the support of PGMC 104-26.
The current system at WSC has some flaws between the lack of timeliness for disciplinary investigations and the current appeals of suspension. Most employees were out here, as you can see. For employees to understand and see that WSC is the judge or jury with no independent body for the ability to be able to mediate any decisions, this bill can help resolve some of the problems established in timeline for disciplinary investigations, which can enable employees to appeal the suspension to the Office of Administrative Hearings. These changes are important for 2898 members who live in our communities, who are ratepayers, and who want a fair dues process. And our union asks for your support of PGMC 104-26. Thank you.
Thank you. Colleagues, are there any questions? All right, well, thank you for your time. All right, next we will move on to PGMC 105-26. So the mayor can go take anything out of that if you like, or you believe that you have it.
Under existing law, each Bi-County Commissioner of the Maryland National Capital Park and Planning Commission and the Washington Suburban Sanitary Commission must file an annual financial disclosure in accordance with state law. This bill affects only Prince George's County and requires that an applicant for appointment as a commissioner in Prince George's County print, paper copy, the electronically filed financial disclosure statement submitted to the Prince George's County Office of Ethics and Accountability. Additionally, the Chief Administrative Officer of Prince George's County, who under existing law receives a copy of the financial disclosure statement, must transmit each statement for a commissioner or appointed applicant to the Office of Ethics and Accountability. Finally, as further specified in the bill, the Office of Ethics and Accountability is required to assume certain existing responsibilities of the Chief Administrative Officer relating to the handling of the financial disclosure statements.
All right, and this bill was put in by the chair on behalf of the county executive. So I'll just say that in terms of my sponsorship. But we do have one person signed up to testify, the Honorable Todd Turner.
Good evening. Thank you, Chair Williams, Vice Chair Harrison, members of the Prince George's House delegation. Good to see some of my former colleagues in that former capacity. We do have a copy of our written statement. Again, as the Chair indicated, this is a big sponsor on behalf of the Second Grade Board. And I would call this a catch-up bill, meaning that in our office was created in 2012. State law has never changed because we have that function. And that should not be very often. As was indicated by the council, obviously the 5 commissioners are required to file with the State Ethics Commission and provide a copy locally to us if residents of the county want to have an opportunity to do this. So we have processed those questions and get process those requests from the county financial disclosure statements and up to the actual document. So we're just kind of getting in practice what we're actually doing under state law. Make that consistent. So obviously it's a kind of a technical bill, but hopefully we have the support on this to make sure that the process is uniform.
Are there any questions for Mr. John? Yes, Delegate Holmes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Turner, good to see you. Please speak to me again.
Great. When I was a member of the county council, I represented the 22nd and 24th district.
Any other questions? Seeing none, we will move on. All right, next we have PGMC 107-26, Maryland National Capital Park and Planning Commission and Washington Suburban Sanitation Commission vendor registration.
Bill requires the Maryland National Capital Park and Planning Commission, the Washington Suburban Sanitary Commission to accept as a registered vendor any person that is registered as such to a vendor registration process established in Prince George's County for Montgomery. Bi-county agencies may enter into memoranda of understanding with the counties to implement the requirements.
Okay, this bill is put in by the chair on behalf of the county council. Mr. Cooper, I see you making your way up, but I had Mr. Turner. I don't know if it's a typo. It is a typo, so we're substituting Mr. Cooper for Mr. Turner, and then I also have, Colbert, Jordan Boston Colbert as well, signed up to testify this bill.
Once again, greetings, Chair Williams, Vice Chair Harrison, and members of the Prince George's County House Delegation. My name is Jabari Cooper, and I'm here on behalf of the Prince George's County Council to respectfully request the support for PGMC 10726, Maryland National Capital Parking Planning Commission, and Washington Suburban Sanitary Commission, and the legislation. This bill strengthens regional coordination between Montgomery County and Prince George's County and the two major bi-counties, the Maryland National Capital Parking Planning Commission and the Washington Suburban Sanitary Commission. This bill requires these agencies to recognize county-level vendor registration and allows for formal agreements and MOUs that support shared procurement processes. This bill addresses a common concern that council members hear from small businesses. Local businesses registered to do business with the county, only the partner agencies like Maryland National Capital Parking Planning Commission, WSAC, obtain separate vendor systems, creating unnecessary barriers. The goal of this legislation is to create a more seamless regional vendor registration system, reduce bureaucratic hurdles, and improve efficiency and inclusivity of public procurement, especially for small and local businesses. PGMC 10726 is part of the broader council effort to streamline procurement across the county, making it more accessible, coordinated, and business friendly. Thank you for your consideration. I will open the question.
And if I can have Mr. Colbert.
Greetings, Chair, Nicole Williams, Vice Chair, and Mayor Harrison, and the entire City County delegation. My name is Jordan Boston Colbert, and I serve as the Senior Government Affairs Analyst for the Delegation Capital Planning Commission. I also received this evening informational only testimony regarding Bill 7-26. The guardian stated that the bill does allow safety of time. It's important to note that both bi-county agencies subscribed within this bill have a unique standalone enterprise resource planning systems that are used for registered vendors and maintain database of registered suppliers that are unique to the organization itself. Under the current practice, vendors cannot do business with the commission unless they are approved and registered in our ERP system. It is unclear how or why these different systems should interact with one another while maintaining unnecessary IT security protocols. So more clarification from the sponsor will be helpful, and as always, we look forward to discussing that with the bill sponsor.
Thank you. Are there any questions for either? Okay. All right, next we'll move on to law enforcement. Our law enforcement subcommittee is chaired by Delegate Mary Lehman, and the vice chair is Delegate Jamila Williams. And the first bill that we have on for law enforcement is PG 302-26, Prince George's County Courts, remote public access to bail review hearings.
The bill requires each court in Prince George's County to provide remote public access to bail through hearings unless hearing is being closed, confidential, or restricted by federal or state law. Additionally, unless there is an overriding public interest clause or providing that the Prince George's County is permitted to broadcast any court hearing on the request of any party, witness, or counsel involved.
And this bill is put forth on behalf of the county council. And I see you have signed up with us. If you want to introduce yourself, our chief judge of the circuit court here in Prince George's County, Judge Danica Cotton. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Chair, co-chair, on the delegation, of course, in my very own, so that can you hear me louder? Yeah. I'm here on behalf of the circuit court of Prince George's County, and I hope you heard me just, well, reading my delegation. They heard you. Okay. But I'm here speaking in opposition of this bill. The bill uses the term overriding public interest. This term is not defined in the bill. It doesn't decide or provide any factors that be considered in making this determination. Maryland Rule 16608, it allows the presiding judge to limit or terminate city coverage of any or all portion of the proceeding upon finding of good cause. This bill will preempt the judge's authority in these situations. Currently, audio-visual screening of hearings that present testimony to be stricken from the record. Currently, the law allows a judge in the midst of a hearing to order these transcripts to be shielded. For example, a child victim is testifying, abuse, domestic violence victim is testifying, a rape victim is testifying. And they give so much personal detail. We can order that to be shielded, and the only people that can get it is pursuant to a court order, and it has to be a party. But if we allow this visual streaming to take place, it goes out into the universe. Once the information is live streamed and in the public domain, the court lacks the ability to detain it, control it, redact it, because it's out there. Imagine a case where a defendant is ultimately the case is dismissed or no cost. The facts, the information is out in public, and it can't be expunged from the public. This can have a negative impact. The data could influence hiring decisions, rental applications, access to credit, profoundly impacting the lives of those affected. And I'm just so concerned about victims who have to give graphic details of things that have happened, and we can shield it. And only people who can get it are those entitled to it. But as a result of this, a neighbor, a friend, a schoolmate can all look and see what you said when I've shielded it because I found that it's consistent with the best interest of that child or that victim. There's also a fiscal impact because we would have to hire additional staff to review the request. We have to have staff to monitor the services, personnel to make a report, to provide remote audio visual access. There's nothing more important to report than transparency, honesty, and openness because we serve the people. But this bill would not allow us to serve the people in the best way. Those who are most vulnerable. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions?
Yes, Victoria.
Thank you so much, Judge, for being here. I understand completely what you're saying. I have a question for you. I'll say whatever I heard. Can you tell me how many minorities you think will be impacted by such a bill as this as having, a bill where you have to know across this information out there? How many minorities?
Well, quite candidly, if you're sitting in a bond hearing, the number of minorities is significantly greater than others in our jurisdiction. The number of minorities that have at the various hearings in our jurisdiction is much greater than others. So I would say at least 70%. And then,
Will be black and brown?
yes.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Sure, Delegate Wood.
Thank you, Your Honor, for your testimony. I would like for you to finish, would you please finish the reading of your testimony?
This is like to be in front of the court.
Yes,
I'm going to change it up. But primarily what I was also thinking about was the cost of home court and the cost and the concern about the court. These requests now, under our law, you have to get it from the party or witness or counsel, but under this, anyone can get it. And I just think of the examples as I spoke to judges about this example where we do the shielding, is the protection of citizens, of victims, and now just imagine being a rape victim or domestic violence abuse victim, and now knowing that anybody, your coworker, let's just see what you said. I mean, that's what this would prohibit.
Thank you, Your
Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate Alston.
And on the flip side of that, what would happen if someone was cleared and had been expunged, would that information still be out there in the public domain?
If it's, right, under this bill, if it's live streamed, and perfect example, and you're found not dismissed or no cross, then it can still be received. So even if normally you gave a mark no in an application, you can still put it up under a rental application, a housing application, hiring decisions, all of those things that normally you would not be able to consider, this bill would allow us to consider. Thank you. Oh, next speaker.
No, I'm just trying to make sure there aren't any additional questions. That's all. Not seeing any. Thank you very much, Your Honor. All right, I also have Judge Lakeisha Allen signed up. Judge Allen. You're here just as backup to the chief judge? Okay, all right. But I did want to acknowledge Judge Allen, who's also with us. She's also one of our judges on the circuit court. So thank you for being here, Judge Allen. And then also, last, I have Mr. Cooper. I think this bill's on behalf of the council, so just as FYI, all the bills Mr. Cooper is here is on behalf of the council.
Thank you. Always tough to call the chief judge, but greetings, Chair Williams, Vice Chair Harrison, members of the Prince George's County House Delegation. My name is Jabari Cooper, and I'm here on behalf of the Prince George's County Council to respectfully request your support for PG 302, T6, courts, and more public access to government hearings. Transparency and public access are essential pillars of trust in government and the justice system. During the COVID-19 pandemic, virtual access to court proceedings proved to be an effective tool for keeping the public informed and engaged. This access is especially important for families of defendants who are able to observe proceedings and provide critical support. PG 302 builds on that progress by requiring for the most public access to bail review hearings. This bill will allow residents, including families of defendants, to view these hearings virtually, ensuring that the process remains open, accessible, and accountable. The presence or absence of family and community support during a bail hearing can influence judicial decisions. By restoring virtual access, we can help ensure that defendants are not isolated from their support system and that the public can continue to engage with the justice process. This legislation is not intended to burden the courts, but rather to promote fairness, transparency, and public confidence in our legal system. It is a practical step forward towards strengthening civic participation and ensuring that justice cannot be done but seems to be done. We respectfully urge your support for PG 30226 and thank you for your time and consideration.
Oh, there's other questions. Okay. First I see Delegate Holmes, Delegate Ivy, and Delegate Wood.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have a question. I did have, have a previous life with the council. And so my understanding, unless they change how you do business at the council, I have a couple of questions. Does the council still oversee the court's budget? Some portion of their budget?
I am not aware of that.
Well, they do. So, do you have an idea of how much additional funding this will cost the court to be able to have this open to the public, because they will have to sit there foremost to be able to provide the service? Is that correct?
I believe the council would say that this process will happen during COVID.
I can't, you have to be.
We believe that this happened, this process, COVID, it was allowed to review remote hearings during COVID. We believe that money was kind of brought forward and it was allowed to do it, and then we did that possibly.
Sure. Would you agree that that would be a unique circumstance, COVID would allow for many people in lives, correct? But my question to you was, do you know how much it would cost the court? This is a county council bill that's bringing to the delegation. So, they cost money. I remember we had to put money in the budget to be able to fund the courts for security measures. So my question to the county council is, do you have an idea of how much additional funding this will cost the court as a fiduciary question considering our fiduciary time? So do you have an idea of what that would cost the court to do that? Or would they have to dig into what they already have to dig into themselves?
I am not aware of how much this will impact this cost.
Well, they should get back to me, and I'm sorry you haven't been the one to answer that. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Delegate Ivy.
Madam Chair, sir, please don't go too far. I want to thank the Chief Judge for being here today, and me as well. She spoke on this piece of legislation. She had some concerns. Can you respond to those?
I would love to, I will come back and maybe provide more information. I'll have anything else to say. I definitely appreciate
Delegate Wood. I want to thank the Chief Judge for testimony, and in light of what I hear could be some very potentially difficult unintended consequences. I'd like to know if you would consider that you only allow those persons who were directly impacted that might have, need to hear that information, that does not allow to the public in general, but certainly to those who've been directly impacted. Yeah, that, the question was, would you all reconsider making it open to the public and just making it available to those who have been directly impacted, so that we do not experience those unintended consequences that I heard the Chief Judge articulate this evening?
I'll be happy to take away those concerns with the judge and come back with the judge.
Delegate Olson.
Just to clarify, these bail hearings are currently already open to the public, so anybody in the public can walk in the courtroom, off the street, sit in and listen to the entire hearing. Isn't that so?
That's good.
Any other questions? Okay, I think that's it for now. Let's stay right there. All right, next we have PG 30326, Safety Audit, Maryland Route 202 and Maryland Route 704, which is brought forward on behalf of the county council.
The bill requires the Maryland Department of Transportation to conduct a comprehensive traffic safety audit of Maryland Route 202 and Maryland Route 704 in Prince George's County. Additionally, it requires MDOT to report finding and recommendations to Prince George's County Delegation on for December 31st, 2026. The bill specifies the definition.
I have Mr. Cooper.
Once again, greetings, Chair Williams, Vice Chair Harrison, and members of the Prince George's County House Delegation. My name for the record is Bart Cooper, and I'm here on behalf of the Prince George's County Council to respectfully request your support of PG 30326, comprehensive traffic safety audit, Maryland Route 202 and Maryland Route 704. Maryland routes 202 and 704 are critical state roadways that serve as a major connector to the capital beltway and key destinations, including Washington D.C., Northwest Stadium, the Town Center, and downtown Largo. This area is home to thousands of employees, hotels, and our regional medical center. Despite their importance, these corridors have become high incident zones, with traffic accidents occurring on a near daily basis. The current conditions pose serious risk to drivers, pedestrians, and cyclists alike. PG 30326 addresses this urgent issue by requiring comprehensive traffic studies on routes 202 and 704. The audit will evaluate contributing factors, including speed limits, roadway design, signage, lighting, and visibility, and revenue improvements and safety infrastructure. As this area continues to grow in population, development, and traffic volume, it is essential that our infrastructure keeps pace. This legislation is a proactive step toward ensuring that these vital corridors are safe for everyone who lives, works, and travels in Prince George's County. We respect the urgent support of PG 303, and thank you for your time and consideration and for answering questions.
Trustee Delegate Healy.
Thank you very much. Thank you for presenting the bill. For question is, these are both state highways, and the question is jurisdiction and what is information is on the state highway district or the other government.
I believe we request the state to fund these funds.
And you want us to pass a law that requires the state to spend money on this particular thing? As opposed to something
We are requesting a traffic audit and safety measures that goes on like the other center.
so this is a state law you want us to pass.
Any other questions? Yeah. Chair Pickinell.
Good evening again. Is it true that Prince George's County has the highest number of accidents in Maryland of all 24 counties?
We believe that is true.
That's right. And Montgomery County, I believe, averages 20 a year, and we average something like 80 a year, correct?
That's correct.
Delegate Rivera.
Thank you. Just to kind of reiterate, and I appreciate, but I do have some questions. First is, where are the highest thefts occurring in the county?
where are the highest bid? I'm not aware, I don't know, I can speak.
It's in New Hampshire and University Boulevard in my district. Okay? The second is the, how is this different from the activities that are occurring with Vision Zero, which are taking place within PPWT, and that's been a long time effort that the county is investing to address these very same issues.
I think this legislation highlights the urgency and the need like Mr. Harrison said, that many people who have been hurt and maybe haven't lost due to traffic. And so some of the crowd is requesting to have better improve our regulations to ensure that more people have the laws.
But again, I just want to make a point that if we're really thinking about where those interactions are, I'm just saying that this is not the way.
I'll take that information back. Thank you.
All right, next I have Delegate Ivy, then Delegate Wood. Oh, you go Delegate Ivy and
Yeah, very briefly, you wouldn't be opposed to expanding.
I would take it back to our council, but I don't think the council would be opposed to it.
Thank you very much, I appreciate it.
and then Vice Chair Harrison.
Thank you. Have you all, has the county council had a conversation first with State Highway to ask them about doing this without creating a state law to follow up on Delegate Healy's question?
I believe both conversations are happening at once, and we're just trying to find the best action to do that. So I those conversations.
Because everything doesn't always have to be a law. Sometimes we can get things done without actually creating or changing the law. And we're talking about, once we do something here, whatever we do here is statewide. So it could affect statewide. And so we have to be very careful with that. And so that was just a follow-up on Delegate Healy's question about just trying to work with State Highway to accomplish what it is that we want to accomplish. I agree that those are roads where we have had some issues, but we have a lot of roads in the county that are state roads that have issues as well. So we just want to make sure that we are as, that we're fair and that we're trying to find a way to handle, because the solution here could be a solution for ourselves.
Thank you so much, Delegate Harrison. I'll relay those concerns back to our council and,
Okay, I think that's it for this bill. Next, we will move on to PG 304-26, Prince George's County Alcoholic Beverages Class A Beer and Class A Beer and Wine Licenses, Retail Grocery Establishments. The council, this bill was put in on behalf of the county.
The bill establishes that for areas in Prince George's County located inside the capital beltway, the Board of License Commissioners may issue a Class A beer and Class A beer and wine license to a self-service retail establishment that, one, is independently owned, which is part of the chain. Two, sells a full line of food products in at least 6 specified categories. Three, dedicates at least 50% of its public area to specified food and beverage items. Four, derives at least 50% of average monthly use of food sales. Prohibition on water personal entity holding more than one license is not applied to a Class A license issued under this act. In addition, the bill requires that by September 11 each year, the board must report to the governor and the general assembly the number of licenses issued and pending and the average percentage monthly, the average monthly percentage of food-related gross receipts for each license holder during the time.
Next, Mr. Cooper, and we have a number of other individuals that are also signed up to testify. You want to start making your way down?
Again, great Chair Williams, Vice Chair Harris, and members of Mr. Harrison, excuse me, and members of the Prince George's County House Delegation. My name is Jabari Cooper, and I'm here on behalf of the Prince George's County Council to respectfully request your support for PG 304-26 Prince George's County Alcohol Beverages Class A Beer and Class A Beer and Wine Licenses Retail Grocery Establishment. This legislation authorizes certain grocery retailers located within the Capital Beltway to obtain a Class A beer or Class A beer and wine license. This pilot initiative is a target regulatory incentive designed to strengthen the business case for grocery operators and attract new investment to communities that have long faced barriers to grocery access. Just this year, in October 2025, multiple Shoppers Food and Pharmacy locations in Prince George's County, including stores in College Park, Laurel, and Capitol Heights, announced permanent closures. These closures, particularly in and around the Capital Beltway region, underscore the urgent need for innovative solutions to address food insecurity and retail disinvestment. PG 30426 is both timely and necessary. By allowing grocery stores to offer beer and wine, we can help these locations become more financially viable, encourage new market entrants, and retain essential food and retail options in underserved areas. This bill represents a practical step toward enhancing food access, bolstering local economies, and ensuring that residents have convenient, full-service grocery options in their communities. We respectfully urge for the support of this legislation. Thank you for your time, and I'm happy to answer.
Thank you. We have a number of people who have signed up. I have Jimmy Sepulveda. And I should know that. I'm so sorry, Jimmy. You have a wonderful establishment located in Riverdale Park that I frequent quite often in District 22. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. Good evening, Chair Williams, Vice Chair Harrison, and our delegation. Thanks so much for having me. My name is Jim Sporopoulos. My family has been a town center market in Riverdale Park since December of 1988. We have grown our business from a small corner store with 3 employees to a one-stop shop that many consider a community hub and gathering spot. We offer online ordering with curbside or home delivery service. Today, we employ staff of 18, all of which reside in Prince George's County. They all have access to our health care plan, and they participate in our profit sharing. Last year, each eligible employee received 25% of their annual earnings into a retirement account. We are not a minimum wage employer, with our lowest wage being over $20 an hour. Beer and wine sales at grocery stores will have a tremendous impact on my store, which ultimately will lead to eliminating jobs. I'm not speculating on what might happen, but we have a real-world example of what will happen. In Colorado, beer and wine became available in grocery stores in March of 2023. Liquor stores immediately experienced sharp declines of 30 to 40%. Many closed, with hundreds forecast to close by the end of 2026. In response to many small business closures in Colorado in April of 2025, the state passed a law which blocks the issuance of new licenses to grocery stores. They hope this will stop more small businesses from closing. If alcohol sales are represented by a pie, that pie will not get any bigger if beer and wine is allowed in grocery stores. Initially, there will be many more alcohol outlets while the market sorts out which stores will survive. The challenge in our county is this: the best stores are either next to or very nearby current grocery stores. These best stores are the ones that will suffer and most likely would go out of business, while the stores that many would like to see go away will not. I respectfully ask that you not support this bill. And I would also like to note that one of the Shoppers stores in College Park that went out of business had beer and still closed. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, no clapping, please, no clapping. Thank you. All right, next I have Lady Miller.
Good evening, Madam Chair, and members of the delegation. I'm Blaze Miller, president of BK Miller Meats and Liquors in Pleasant, Maryland. My store is the 4th generation small business. My son Cole, 4th generation, is in the audience. He's here as well. We've been located on the same corner in Pleasant, Maryland for over 113 years. I'm in opposition to this bill. I've invested in my business and I've done so recognizing the laws as they are. In a 1-mile radius of Alabama, where there are currently 5 other stores that I currently compete with. I truly believe that allowing this privilege of selling beer and wine in chain stores will not be a snow thing, but will be a snowball. Similar bills are introduced annually in the state for the legislation that I testify to. When we first came on to testify, here, it was Boyle Park, kind of black, grocery store. Chains you want to help are based out of Maryland, much less Prince George's County. Giants in Pennsylvania, Safeway, California, Wegmans, New York, Aldi, and Lidl in Germany. These chains are successful without this bill. As you mentioned, the Winfield retail shoppers is one of the solutions that something necessary to be successful in that. I have 50 fellow employees, 43 who reside in Prince George's County. And being independent allows me to hire prospective employees at chain stores 20 times higher. Great people that will not make the betting when a chain store does. That is one of the benefits of small independent business. As is our relationship with the community, charities and organizations reaching out for help, they can contact me or my management team and get a response immediately. In the last 4 years, my home stores contributed over $12,000 each to Ernie's Place in Clinton, Millwood, Greater Basin Medical Services, Strassville High School, where I'm the Smoking Joe president. White Rose Foundation, Christmas in April, and the Omega Fraternity in Capitol Heights. As a small business, I also hire local vendors such as plumbers, electricians, and pest control. These other big chains do have their own people from out of state. We support local small brands that will not be able to show up in these other sorts of chains. A lot of local stores, a lot of local brands that are grocery stores that we support. Finally, I support competition in free market. Competition must be fair. Suppliers have established unfair pricing methods, models to a select few. Yes, as well as chain stores, get right from Budweiser, from big companies that will buy space in their shelves and they get taken care of that way. We protect small independent by opposing this bill. Please feel free to reach out to anybody in our industry.
We're going to hold questions until the end and about 5 minutes to testify. For 18 minutes, and we'll take questions. So next I have two-star Vandoria, and then if Ron O'Hell want to make his way down as well, we go in that order, followed by Akila Ali Koswala and Harmony. Okay, yes, yes.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Vice Chair, and the members of the Prince County Delegation. My name is Tushar Vadoria. I'm the owner of the J Believers. I stand today in strong opposition to the PG 304-26. I'm a proud small business owner in Prince George's County with 8 local employees, all living in this county, raising family here, and paying taxes here. I want to tell you a good story. I came to this country and started my career earning minimum wage. I worked hard, saved every dollar, and eventually invested my life savings to open my own business here in the great Prince George's County, because this county has always been business friendly. Welcome to entrepreneurs like me. I have a wife, 2 kids, ages 10 and 12. Like any parents, I worry about their future. How I will gonna pay my mortgage? How I will gonna afford their college education? My business is the only source of stability. This bill passes, I genuinely don't have any idea how I will survive. I'm located right next to the Shoppers, a major grocery chain. I carry more than 3,000 items in my store. But if Shoppers start selling the same top selling products that I keep my business alive, there is simply no way I can compete with them. As a small retailer, I also carry enormous personal financial risk. I rent my store and I have signed personal guarantees. If my store drops, business drops and I cannot pay rent, I don't just lose the store, but I lose everything, which large corporate chains don't face that kind of risk. There is no shortage of the retailers offering beer and wine in our county. This bill does not fix the problem, it simply shifts the revenue away from the local business to be transferred to the big corporate chain. Creating even one exception will create the domino effect across the entire state, making it impossible to reverse. I also want to echo concern of many retailers sitting here today who faces the same struggle as I do. And I'm also representing the Asian American Retailer Association, having more than 500 members across the state. If Madam Chair, if we allow, we have many members right here who can raise their hands and show their opposition to this bill. Thank you very much. And again, for the economic, personal, and the community reasons, I respectfully urge you to reject PGBO for -26, protect the small businesses, families, workers who make the Prince George's County strong. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you, sir. Next I have Raj Gohil. And then I have followed Alika Swallow. You can start making your way down as well.
Good evening, members of the board. My name is Baraj Bilano. I am the owner and manager of Drinks Market in Capitol Heights. My testimony tonight is going to come from more of a Gen Z perspective. What I'm testifying for is that I've seen my uncles, my father grow this business, and now they've given us the responsibility of trying to further this business and reach markets which they haven't done before. So to be able to, for them to trust us and for us not to be able to continue with the same success and with the same outlets that they have with this bill being introduced, it's going to be absolutely detrimental to us. I am a young individual coming into this business and handling over 15, 20 employees at a time. It's on our shoulders to make sure that these people get paid, these people have an opportunity to get a job, and be able to support the community, which is exactly what we're trying to do. So by introducing this bill, it is going to absolutely tear apart our businesses. And for us to have that on our shoulders as the younger generation coming in, seeing what our parents have been able to do for us due to this business and being able to put their entire lives into this business, it is going to be a very, very, very good thing for us. So today, I ask you guys to please vote this bill. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Caswell?
Good evening, it's Alec. My name is Alec Caswala. I am here today representing Fannie Liquors located at 717 in District Heights. And we are a women-owned, right-owned business. Currently working. And to instead of rehashing the financial hardship we're facing, I think I'd rather say what this institution means to me and what this institution means to a lot of people standing behind it. This institution is one of the last vestiges of bastions of small business that we have in this country. It represents the idea that the everyman can scrape together their hard-earned money in the course of their lives, and they can own something, build something, and participate in the tapestry of America's dream, which makes this county so strong. And I find it concerning that year after year, we decide, our corporations decide to hold a limited barrel on small business owners across the state and say, take it or leave it. And what this institution really means to me, my daughter came here and he didn't have to go to his state. He sold roses on the median. Then he worked as a pizza delivery guy. Then he worked at front desk in a hotel, all to save up enough money to own Freddie's business, his first business. And that business was not only me, but my sister through law school. And I'm happy to say that I have to go very recently. And so this isn't just an institution of convenience. It's something that has been around for generations. And it presents the last opportunity that normal people have to own something. And I think you see that across the nation. But people can't afford to own anything, much less homes, much less businesses. And don't take it from me, don't take it from the people behind me. That's the state of Colorado that failed. That's the word that.
Thank you. All right, next I have Harmet Singh, followed by Sandeep Sakara, and that's all that I have left for this particular bill. If you could speak up, please, so that the people on the live stream can hear you, that would be great.
Good evening, Madam Chair and members of the delegation. My name is Naveen Singh. I own a small family-owned food in George County, and I'm here to strongly support this bill. This bill will devastate long-standing small businesses, independent liquor stores in PG County, almost all minority-owned family-owned. First, have invested our life savings into our licenses, leases, and inventory. If we open the door for large grocery chains to sell alcohol, our businesses will not survive. This is not fair competition. Big chains have national buying power, They can sell beer and wine at prices we can never match. This will hand them an automatic advantage and wipes out the only protection small stores ever law. The result will be job losses and closed storefronts. We employ local residents. When small stores close, those jobs disappear. Grocery stores do not do that. This will hurt minority entrepreneurs, weaken neighborhoods, reduces property tax revenue, and shifts millions of dollars out of our communities into corporate headquarters. I respectfully ask you to reject this bill and protect the small and business businesses that have such interest on the budget. Thank you.
Next, I have Sergeant Secretary.
Delegation. My name is Sergeant Secretary, and I'm here to oppose this bill. I just want to point out one thing that people want to do this introduction. So even though the chain stores get permission to sell the beer and wine, this is not going to make any difference whether they are closing their store or they're going into business. This is not going to impact their business in a big way, but definitely this is going to kill the small businesses. That's all. Thank you.
That's all I have started to testify. We have a number of questions from a number of colleagues. I see Delegate Roberts, Delegate Martinez, Delegate Holmes, Taylor, and then Delegate Roberts. Thank you, Madam Chair. My question is for Mr. Miller. You mentioned that you feature a lot of local owned brands in the county. Can you talk about how many of them are minority owned brands? No, we need you to speak into the microphone so that the people who are listening via YouTube can hear you clearly. So please speak clearly into the microphone. Thank you. And if you can speak a little closer to the mic.
A lot of the small companies we do represent, and we do represent a lot of them, they aren't very successful. They sit on the shelves and they're, unless they come out, Teacher Free comes out, there's a bunch of them that come out and do tastings. They're very successful when they do tastings. And the tastings are over. They really don't sell a whole lot. We do keep them on the shelves for, for one person that wants to come. And truthfully, my cousin, we came from a company over in Landover, has his own rum in our store. Doesn't sell a bottle. I can tell all the time, Dave, this doesn't sell. Some things don't sell, but we have it here because it is principal county based. The Kobe even more.
Yeah, I would just say we have about 30 brands of black-owned, women-owned brands that we keep up front and, people ask for them, direct them to where they are. And, we get questions every day, and thinking about black-owned brands, we have minority-owned brands, and, we do liquor, wine, beer too, and we direct them to all those products. I don't think chain stores would do that.
Okay. To answer your question, Delegate Roberts. Yes, but just more, I guess, less important. What district is your business in? What district is your business in? Yeah, we say that. Okay, this is looking 25, got it. Okay, next we're gonna go to Delegate Martinez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The first question I have is just kind of around the genesis of this proposal. Did the county, the council conduct any type of surveys or any type of study with stakeholders before presenting this idea? If it's no, it's okay.
I am not an advocate, I don't know, but I do know there was very considerable research and very targeted approach in making sure that this is just a pilot program and it's very targeted to where food, grocery stores are lacking in the community. So that was the genesis of this bill, was to provide grocery options and pharmacy options to older the residents who have to maybe travel 25 minutes just to get to the pharmacy. Who have to maybe go 20 minutes to just get food and just quality food. And one thing I want to address is that for Royal Farms Commons, there are kind of outlines in the bill that require them to have certain types of food, and I don't know of a place like Royal Farms that they would qualify given the types of food that a grocery or retailer would take advantage of this type of.
I'm so glad you said that, because what I thought of was people like Walmart, right? With their groceries, to be able to qualify if they went to the store within the criteria of the bill.
And like you said, they have some expansive food options in the Walmart. These new age superstores now, and you use a lot of times have a lot of grocery options. So, but I don't think that it really the intent is to go to grocery stores, people who have perishable foods, and that is the intent of providing grocery options.
And this is my last thing. I had a conversation today with the CEO of Shoppers about proposing Laurel, New Carrollton, and College Park. And the thing that they talked about was the Walmart and the much larger corporations who are basically coming in and breaking up the market. I don't see how this stops that from happening.
And we would be welcome to, like I said, that's not the intent of this bill, but we would welcome to work with the stakeholders and try to kind of iron out any details and providing grocery stores to underserved communities who are living in food deserts and have the travel that they saw to give them just personal food.
And my last question that I have is there any grocery stores currently in these areas that would benefit from this? Is there a particular store we're trying to keep in the county or incentivize to come to this particular area, or is it just, hey folks, we have a pilot for the month?
Yeah, I think the purpose is to try to bring people in. Like as our council members when they go at these national conferences, oftentimes that's really the emphasis of this bill, is that they have said that this helps increase the margin. So that is one of the reasons why they want to capital dollars.
I have a question, and then I'm gonna go down the road. So these businesses that you guys meet with at this conference, that say that they need this here in Prince George's County in order to get their profit margins, do they have stores located in other counties throughout the state of Maryland?
I would suggest is that
Is the question for you?
Yes, I would say across the state, yes. I mean, there are other jurisdictions in the county that allow beer and wine sales. I was just driving back from Jersey, I stopped and talked to the county.
No, that's what I'm hearing there. Do these grocery stores that you're stating need, you're saying that when you guys go to these conferences, they need beer and wine in order to meet their profit margins here in Prince George's County? My question is, do these same corporations that want to relocate here in Prince George's County, but say that they need beer and wine in order to meet their profit margins, do they also have retail grocery stores located in other counties here in the state of Maryland?
Yes.
Okay. Next, I'm going to go to Delegate Holmes, then Delegate Taylor, then Delegate Alston.
Thank you. Mr. Cooper, I was just wondering, how did the number of 50% be arrived at? 50% groceries and 50% alcohol. How did 50%?
The number was just to encourage like perishable foods and like foods that we can, bananas, apples, like chickens, like that. That was the point. That number was used so we would push out places like the Royal Farms. It was not trying to get 7-Elevens and grocery stores to allow beer and wine. It was just a way to create a program for more grocery stores. I want to emphasize that a lot. It was like
Sure. In my mind, it was a grocery store. It should be selling more groceries than beer and wine. So the percentage of 50-50 in my mind says it's not necessarily a grocery store. He came here to tell me 75% groceries. That sounds like a grocery store. And 50-50 doesn't sound like a grocery store.
I would have to look back at I want to look back on the legislation, but I would definitely follow up with your office about that language. We'd be happy to work with that information.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Sure. Next, I have Delegate Taylor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Line 6, actually.
This section applies only in areas of the county located inside the Capitol Beltway. I'd like to respond to that, and then I have a second question that has to do with the permit and how that works. And I see in the last paragraph it mentions 5 years. What happens if it's over 5 years?
And then we would have to kind of ask this authority again, this would just kind of sunset, where it would go away. And so, as to your first question, of the capital Beltway region. So this was just, like I said, to really attack the areas that are communities that have food deserts and has a great resource and inside the capital Beltway region, these are literally food deserts and they do not have any grocery options. And so the capital Beltway region was used as a marker to locate these stores.
So it doesn't come out to those jurisdictions that have no
That is correct.
Okay. All right, next I have Delegate Olson and Delegate Hull.
Thank you. You know, as I sat here looking out, I was very curious as to how many people in the audience actually live in Prince George's County. I'm not going to ask people to raise their hand. I'm also curious as to how many actually live inside the Beltway and are faced with the problem of the proliferation that we have lost all of our grocery stores. I think maybe 1 or 2 remain. Pretty much all of our pharmacies. And the majority of our homes have been defeated from inside of the Beltway in Prince George's County. We do, however, have certain types of stores almost on every corner. And this bill, in my opinion, provides a tool in a toolbox to allow us to attract businesses back to communities that desperately need it. The community that I grew up in, we lost our Safeway because of profits. We haven't lost any liquor stores because of profits. And it is not right that seniors don't have a place to buy food. It's just wrong. And so if retailers are telling our regulators that this is a tool they need in order to come, then I think we all need to sit at the table and figure out how to make it happen. Because it is an unacceptable phenomenon that people who are 70 years old cannot get fresh fruits and vegetables. It's wrong. It is fundamentally wrong. And maybe it's not a problem because it's not something that you all face at your homes. But we face that here in this county, and this is one tool to address it. And I want you to know that we're not insensitive to what you're saying, because last year, we actually provided an additional liquor license to the first ever African-American liquor store that can sell all-premise sales. So we are there, and we are trying, but to say just no and not look at what possibilities can come from this is also unacceptable. Isn't that so?
I agree 100% on behalf of the county.
Next we have Delegate Holmes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll be relatively quick. If I was asking ladies to come up and also ask you as well as the county council. I'm going to pivot slightly to ask, would you be amenable to amending the legislation? I'm just curious, out of curiosity, thinking, to include big box retailers, say only. I do think that we are not competitive in the region. We have a couple big box retailers that are not able to sell beer, wine, or liquor within Prince George's County. So what is your thought on that?
On behalf of the council, I would have to take that, and then I would definitely take that and then back to our county council and relay that information. We will come back to you all.
I'm thinking about so I'm just curious.
Yeah, just because it's a whole, it's I could.
I understand. You're just on the hot seat tonight, I know. Okay.
I would personally be opposed to this corporation that's going to keep growing. If someone gets it, another one's going to buy it, another one's going to buy it. We really are small business. And I think I had a group of people come to my school a couple weeks ago. I would love for a small group, like PK Miller, to come over to my school.
We're 25,
It's a small, I'm a
without
small
the David
school.
County Executive team, so.
I'm a small store, and that's successful. I went over to the shop about 2 weeks ago that's closed in on Southern Avenue. It was sad, like, this was like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, there was like 10 people, let's say 5 people, sleeping in their cars, trash in the parking lot. That's why I think we're losing these businesses. You know, we'll be innovative, you said we'll be innovative, like, stop innovative. Let's get police at the place. I spent over $100,000 almost this year on security in my school for part-time security. That's part of the county. I don't care, let's be honest with it. There's trash in the county. Let's clean the county up. There's signs on every telephone pole you go in. Go to my school. I hire a person to clean up my parking lot every day, and I personally take signs down my door. That's what we need to do with the county, with these businesses. They're not going to be successful. If you've got a lower income area, they can't make a profit. They're not going to buy the fancy steaks or whatever. This Thanksgiving at my school, I sell meat. I usually sell 5 cases of fancy prime ribs. And that's the one piece of shit. It comes to shutdown because of the economy that we're facing. People are buying less and less. I've lived in the county for the last 20 years. I've worked there 70 hours every week. And I live in Prince George's County. My family, grandpa, father, my whole family, everybody lives there. And we respect Prince George's County. We love Prince George's County. But we have to get to the fact that we do have issues. Companies aren't leaving, because we don't have liquor. We have an alcoholic store already. I'm gonna give them another store, and you're not gonna hire another person to take that position in the store.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. All right, we have one last question. Madam Chair, and then Delegate Wood, then we'll have to move on. We have 16 more bills we need to get through.
To the last gentleman who spoke, as the chair of the health committee for the House, I can tell you that we have, in Curtis County, it's not, as I heard you speak, all crime. It is a community that it's hardworking. There are many people that have money, all right? But some areas do not have many choices. In the areas that we're talking about, let's just take the Bandit Ball, Capitol Heights, District Heights. You know, areas that that people are usually poor, okay? People that are usually black, okay? Some brown, and have not historically had many choices and have suffered many issues like discrimination, lack of opportunities. Prince George's County, in those areas, we need better choices for meals. I can tell you as the chair of the health committee that Prince George's County, we lack primary care doctors. We have a lot of disparities when it comes to the black and brown community, when it comes to heart disease, diabetes, kidney disease, okay? And a lot of that is due to the environment that we live in.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Delegate Wood.
So I heard a lot of articulation about food deserts. And so my question is, if we have food deserts, why don't we provide more food? And as opposed to looking at providing alcohol, and what would be, could it not be a win-win situation to actually offer a tax incentive to some of these liquor stores to provide healthy food?
Thank you for your question, Delegate Woods. We'd be happy to work with that industry and all the different environments that the county is incentives that we think this incentive is a very good way to ensure that the county government, Prince George's County has more food options. We think this incentive will procure more food options.
All right, thank you. This has been a robust conversation on this bill. Next, we're going to move on to PG 305-26, District Court, Prince George's County Remote Access to proceedings, courtroom transparency, and remote access.
Bill requires that the district court pressure
And we ask that you please, if you are leaving, please leave quietly. Thank you.
Bill requires that the district court of Prince George's County provide contemporaneous remote audio-visual public access on pre-trial release, bail review, preliminary hearings, and inquiries unless the proceedings closed, confidential, or restricted by law. Presiding judge may prohibit broadcasting any portion of a proceeding requested by a party, witness, or counsel unless there's an overriding public interest in telling disclosure. On counsel's request and for good cause, the court may allow parties to participate remotely with speaking in the record or giving testimony. In addition, this bill requires that the court must designate staff to receive and respond to reports of malfunctions in the audiovisual system. Their contact information will be published on the court's website.
And this bill being sponsored by Delegate Ventura.
Hi. So just making sure that we understand how different this bill is from the first bill that we were since remote access already occurs, right now, the Office of the OPD is going to be coming out with some slight amendments because I think that they misunderstood this. The intention of this bill is to make sure that people have due process and that their due process is protected. And what I mean by that is that there shouldn't be a chance for a judge to mute a plaintiff or defendant in the process of being heard in court. And everybody's rights should be protected and they should be treated equally, and therefore having a neutral party being managed the people or something to that effect. That's the intention of this bill. So there will be some further amendments that will be coming forward so that it calms the nerves, I guess, of the people that are reviewing this bill the way it's currently drafted.
Chief Judge Hall, who is chief of our district court here in Prince George's County, are you here on this bill, Judge Hall? Okay, you can come up and testify. We would greatly appreciate it.
Thank you so much for acknowledging the capabilities of our chair, character. I'm Lisa Hall Johnson. I'm the administrative judge on the Prince George's County District Court. I'd like to acknowledge my benefit, the judiciary is opposed to this legislation. I incorporate by reference a lot of the comments made by Judge Cotton with respect to the similar bill. I do know that this has some differences, and I want to speak directly to those differences. As written, it would allow an individual who is not a party to a proceeding to participate in the proceeding remotely, including by speaking on the record and offering testimony. This bill would allow non-parties to interject themselves into the proceedings. This would violate the basic tenets of the judicial system, right to a fair and impartial trial. The presiding judge, right, is required to decide the matter based only on the wrongfully presented evidence and applicable law, without partiality or prejudice, and without being swayed by public opinion. Violates the rules regarding discovery. Fails to allow parties to vet, to be prepared for witnesses and testimony given. As is currently, the only people who participate are presented either by the state or the defense, right? The defense attorney indicates that the chairman would like to speak, the state indicates that the victim or witness would like to speak, and those parties are permitted to participate and speak. This bill defends individuals, right? It doesn't limit it to people who are parties or connected to the proceedings. The other issue that I haven't talked about earlier today, or that the issue hasn't talked about earlier, was that we did allow remote access in this way, audio access, at the beginning of the pandemic. And when I did that, we had to mute people who would unmute and talk through the proceedings. When we would mute them, they would start to type in the chat to try to influence the judge. There were people who would have background noise and have to stop the proceedings. And many times, Chairman, and she said, can you talk closer to the mic? Could you imagine if you are a defendant, right? Whose liberty is at stake? And the judge says, I'm sorry, I need you to talk closer to the mic so the people online can hear you. Right? These proceedings, the judges that are hearing these proceedings are focused on what is being presented to them. We are focused on that evidence. The courts are open to the public. People can come into the courtroom and participate. There are already rules that allow remote participation. When the attorney says, the files rule, the judge says, I have witness who is elsewhere would like to participate remotely, we can make that happen. Right? There are already rules that allow that. Another point that I'd like to make, and again, in response to the question you earlier, was the district court is a state court. It's not a county court. Right? The county council does not govern our budget. It's a state court, and this bill provides this access only for Prince George's County, which means the defendant in this county is the only one subject to having their faces online, of having that part of the bill. So that's why this issue is opposed to people's bill. Again, it's redundant. We do allow audio streaming. So people who want to listen remotely can log on to our website and listen every day to volunteers, hearing, all of those matters. There are already that. Yes.
And I agree with you. Delegates, we're going to do all of the witnesses first, and then we'll take questions. Is there any
Yes,
questions?
one other quick point is the fiscal impact. Again, it would require the judiciary to hire staff to monitor this live stream, to monitor, to make sure that we have cameras placed in the courtroom, to make sure that we have the microphones properly placed. There's a fiscal impact to that as well. And again, we already tried to address the concerns underlying the bill by allowing an audio stream of the so that thank you.
Thank you. We have several people signed up to testify. I have Kashina Cross. You can just make your way down in the order in which I'm going to call you. Dooney O'Neill, Michaela Wilkes, J. Alice Eaton, William Hines, and then Willie Hamilton. We'll start with Ms. Cross.
To the chair, vice chair, the delegation, I try not to tremble as we're speaking here tonight. But I do highlight and acknowledge that there has already been opportunities for us to have the courtroom transparency. Again, I'm Christine Cross, I think I didn't say my name earlier. But I do acknowledge that there is access and need for remote as well as transparency. When it comes down to our court system, relative to a previous discussion as well as this discussion, to enable us to make sure that the defendants and those that are having to speak do have their opportunity to speak, and they're not cut off. And I do agree that there is a change that needs to happen within our court systems as well as transparency. So I do humbly ask that you would support this. What it does and how it will actually return back to the legislative process is not only the ethics, but the core responsibility of the court system, which is to be a defender of truth and transparency. Ultimately, that's what I hope that this bill will bring to us. So I do humbly ask that the delegation will consider it, particularly this bill, and what it actually brings back to the community and those that will impact.
Thank you. Next, I have Dooney O'Neill. Okay. Michaela Wilkes. J. Alice Eaton.
Good evening, I'm Jade Eaton. I live in Greenbelt, and I'm a volunteer with Port Washington, D.C. I urge you to support this bill and to ensure virtual remote access to Prince George's County District Courts. Mr. Hanks will go over the content of the bill. I'm speaking to you as a citizen of Prince George's County. This virtual access has made me a better citizen and a better neighbor. And yet this access has been restricted since the visual access that I had when I first started court watching. And audio access to limited audio access. We've learned firsthand that without legislation, effective visual access is not guaranteed, even though it exists now. When I started court watching, I thought that I would learn about criminal justice and the judicial process, but what I found out is that it demonstrates that the cracks in our social safety net show up first in the criminal justice system. I see people, or I hear people, swept up in the criminal justice system because they suffer from mental illness, and that they must be held for a week or more awaiting a mental health court date, in which time they have to stay incarcerated. I see people who are unhoused, arrested for trespass and minor thefts, and held without bond. I see people who are hanging on to financial stability who risk losing their jobs and their homes because they cannot pay a money bond, and because the pretrial relief services are backed up for weeks. I see juveniles slipping away from being productive citizens because they have to be held far away from the good influence of their parents because the local juvenile facilities are already full. Without remote access to the courts, I could not speak for these people. I would not be able to tell my neighbors and my legislators about these issues. As people in charge of this system of law, you should welcome more eyes and ears on this process.
Thank you, thank you. Next I have William Hines. Haynes.
Bill Haynes, representing the Port Arthur PG, in favor. Thank you for hearing. In Prince George's County, this bill asks for 1, remote audiovisual access to district court non-trial hearings that are already being broadcast audio only. 2, a return to allowing remote testimony in these hearings by parties from agreement, family, and friends. The machinery is in place, and create a facility to report technical problems, such as the current pandemic bad ranking. We hope in future to expand this, these premise to the whole state. A key guardian of due process is public court culture. Our group listens to hearings and reports problems from relevant officials and the public. Such volunteer work depends on remote access, and it's important. Consider bail review. In minutes, the court decides whether to jail someone for months without trial, exerting great pressure toward plea deals, which have largely replaced trials. In the last 4 years, we've seen many improvements in bail reviews, apparently from our efforts. Judges' clear violations of the Maryland rules have become less common. Judges are becoming better informed about the practical meaning of their rulings, and partly in response to our reports, the county is now negotiating major changes in pretrial services policy to settle a federal lawsuit, but many big problems remain. One example, some 10% of bond reviews are for people who need a Spanish translator, but the translation is often wrong, and the court usually does not make the required record of those hearings. That's discrediting. The reason to let people speak remotely, as the court allowed under COVID, is that many people who should speak can't take a day off from the court. People speak to give character testimony, to show support to loved ones in a crisis, and to give key information so that judges can comfortably order release if it's possible for the court.
Thank you. Next I have Willie Hamilton. Okay, all right, that's it for PG 305-26. We will, are there any questions? I'm so sorry. Questions? Delegate also.
I don't know if I misheard, but I just wanted to correct what I think I heard. All of the proceedings in district court and circuit court are on the record. So it's not, those proceedings are all on the record. They have to be on the record for appeal purposes and to protect the constitutional rights of all people that we're talking about. It really wasn't a question, it was a point of clarification, because I thought I heard somebody say that if stuff is not being recorded, it wasn't on the record. It absolutely is.
Any other questions? Delegate Bird.
Thank you. And I really appreciate the judge coming and presenting. I really, really do. Just to let you know, I would love to work with you so that we can find a medium one, because I do think that this is something that, to the point that maybe we can, all I'm looking for is someone who can make it. If somebody commits a crime and they need to show up to court, I think we're more than right? But if it's a minor offense, and that this is something that we can try to figure out, I think if there's something we can do. I'm not aware, I'll be first to tell you, I'm parent. So I need to rely on you so that we can figure out something that you can live with, but at the same time respect people's
This is not a period of time to respond. You stated your point, and then we will ask questions. And then if there's anything else, you're more than welcome to submit any additional written testimony to LaTasha Coleman, who is the executive director of the delegation. All right, any other questions, colleagues? All right, seeing none, we will move on to the next bill, which is 306-26, Prince George's County Speed Monitoring System, Maryland Route 210 penalty.
The bill establishes that if a person liable for a violation reported by a speed monitoring system placed on Maryland Route 210 in Prince George's County does not pay the civil penalty to contest the violation, the Motor Vehicle Administration, on notice from the county, may suspend the vehicle's registration with written notice and the option for a hearing. Registration must be suspended, however, if within the 90-day period, the owner fails to pay or contest at least 3 overdue citations, or if the total unpaid citations reach $500 or more. Suspended registrations are reinstated once all overdue penalties, fees, court costs, and the $30 administrative fee is paid. In addition, the bill establishes an annual building fund whereby EPA must report to the General Assembly on certain information related to the suspension of registration.
This delegate was, this piece of legislation was introduced by Delegate Chris Valderrama, who unfortunately is not able to be here tonight, but I do have 2 people signed up who I'm sure are going to provide clear guidance. I think I have Ron Weiss. Is he still here? No? Okay, and Reverend Dr. Robert L. Green Sr. Okay, you want to come up to the microphone, and if you could, I'm sure you'll lay out on behalf of Delegate Valderrama the importance of this bill, which I think is related to the legislation you passed last session, and to just clarify some of the enforcement.
Thanks so much, Madam Chair, and all distinguished delegates. I thank having me and Dr. Rogers and Senior, and the Nelson Think Back Safety Committee. I will be report. With 6 new state-of-the-art synoptic speed cameras being introduced in Indian Highway in July 2024, many new speed traffic revelations were occurred. The first full month of speed camera usage in August of 2024 reported 12,520 violators in the first 30 days. As of October 31st of this year, 15 months after installation, the Reliable speed cameras reported 93,805 violations, including 52,229 in the year 2025 alone, averaging over 5,800 violations each month. We have close to 200 vehicles a day cited for speed, 16% at 75 miles per hour. On this 14-mile span of Prince George's County Road, as recent analysis, we have reported 333 reported crashes with 3 fatalities thus far this year. Now comes the real disturbing revelations that every traffic safety advocate should hold to heart. We have as of October 31st of this year, a cumulative total from July 2024, 15,344 repeat offenders. Breaking down some of the reported categories, 12,375 violators with 2.5 cases, 2,156 with 5 and 9 citations, 611 with 10 to 19 citations, and 1 individual with 215 citations. Now comes the real kicker. The payment rate for all citations and violations is less than 50%. Yes, you heard me right. More than half of the violators are not paying. The 2 central points of PC 30627 are thus: suspension of registration and violations within the 90-day period, and then 2, the suspension of registration for violations of $500 citation before court. I hope people will support this bill.
Thank you. We'll go to Delegate Woods, who I'm sure probably will ask you to. Okay, Delegate Woods.
Thank you so much, Reverend Screen. I would like for you to finish providing statistical information, please.
Thank you so much. Suspension of registration will be placed on the said vehicle and then placed on the impound list, which can be carried out by an officer of enforcement in the state of Maryland, including state and park police. We find ourselves in a place of forced compliance. When our traffic laws are ignored and our citizens are placed in harm's way by impulsive, irresponsible drivers who blatantly make mockery of our traffic driving laws, I ask for your support of PG 30626 to help save lives on this delicate road in the Highway. I'd just like to add that I've lived in this county, lived in the southern part of the county for almost 50 years. I worked as a chaplain for about 5 years at the hospital. I personally have seen the company who got sick. It's time to do something. It's a good deal. We deserve that. We have to get the right people who are doing the wrong things on the right accountability.
Thank you, Rex. Are there any additional questions? Delegate Williams.
Thank you. I respect the need for and the interest on, you need to know where to send. You have the location of the law. Always in the events and so on. My only concern is that it seems kind of like a death penalty, right? That where people continue to commit crimes regardless of possibility of crimes. The charges will result in death. People still do it. And you're saying that 50% of the people are not paying. I think that the onus is on us to book those cars and confiscate the cars if the cars are not, so that they're not allowed to drive, or revoke the license. There's got to be other options, because what I'm hearing is the complaints on the pressure being not focused on the tenant. But I'm in the north part of the county, and people are like, what's going on, that you are raising fees for 1 mile over the speed limit. No, I know, not here, but last year, I'm thinking that we used to speed across the board. And so, I got complaints on that, and for you to get complaints from someone else regarding, that's just something to be worried about, and I think that there's got to be some of this keeping on.
Well, first of all, I appreciate your comments on that. First of all, we have in Prince George's County, we have an 11-mile per hour speed limit. There's that one mile mark. We have 11 miles. In other words, nobody gets a citation with the speed camera until they're going 12 miles per hour over the speed limit, which would be 67 miles per hour and above. That's when it starts. Then the other thing is we have tried everything in terms of trying to work with people who are doing this. And this is why we're trying to look after the cars with the registration who are the ones who are doing these things. 98% of the people on Indian Highway pretty much do the right thing. It's a 2% number that are doing the atrocities. We have over 80,000 people a day on Indian Highway. Every day, every single day, that's the count. The 2% is 1,600 people a day that are doing these atrocities. For 1,600 people a day on a 14-mile span of roadway, which is very condensed, when people do things, everybody in the community feels the pain.
No, and I respect that. Like I said, my first grade has the greatest effect in D and Virginia, Maryland, and DC. So I can definitely feel your pain on that.
I thank you, Roger. Okay. So that I don't see any other questions. So we're going to move on to PG 308-26. I just want to remind colleagues it is 8:46 p.m. We do have to be out of here at 8 o'clock. I'm sorry, 10 o'clock. And so therefore, if you have any pressing questions,
fine, but I'm sure that all of the bill sponsors, advocates, lobbyists, and et cetera, will be more than happy to address any questions you may have offline, so that we can make sure that we are out of the by 10 p.m. So next, we are going to move on to PG 308-26, which has actually been withdrawn. I do have two people sign up on this bill, Lisa sorry, and, that's all, I saw you stand up, oh no, you were just, okay, to give Lisa a way to get out. Okay, and I had Judge Cotton signed up for this bill, but Judge Cotton's bill is going to be withdrawn. So, unless you want to stick around a little longer or just to listen, okay, I'll take that as a
Just for correction, it's going statewide.
yes, so let's move to a statewide. Okay, that's my contact page, I'll fix the page in a second. Next, we're going to move on to PG 309-26, council.
The bill authorizes the placement and use of point-to-point speed monitoring systems on Maryland Route 210 in the county, subject to certain requirements. Under the bill, point-to-point speed monitoring system means the device be used to use two motor vehicles to calculate the active speed of the motor vehicles from two geographic points. The details and procedures surrounding the use of the system are further specified.
Okay, and this bill is also sponsored by Delegate Dr. Rama. I have two people signed up for this bill. I have Ron Weiss, who is still not present. And then I do have Reverend Dr. Robert Ellis Green Sr. Reverend Screen, if you want to come on up, and I'm sure your testimony will explain why Delegate Dr. Rama introduced this bill.
Once again, the senior secretaries, I thank you for your time of this important bill. Last year.
A little closer to the microphone.
Yes. Last year, your support for the passage of HB 349 created the much-needed speed camera citation dishwashing model that moves static citation of $40 for all speed infractions to the now range of $40 to $425. What has come to pass is now savvy speed determined drivers can slow down at the point of speed camera location and then speed up when out of the photographic range. I now seek your support for a 5-year pilot program known as Point to Point that is designed to arrange speed cameras that will not be limited to a confined spot of camera enforcement, limited by the extent of the photographic range of the camera, but will enforce an entire span of road, calculating the average speed between two fixed camera locations and how the lines will appear on instruction. By coincidence, this year at one speed camera location, the camera was struck and damaged by the automobile and was removed from service for 1 week at the location, and it remained permanent for 1 year. The camera regularly reports over 1,400 citations each month. For that particular month, it registered 958 citations with 1 week damage. Moving the camera 200 yards further north on the same span of road after replacement, the camera registered 5,431 citations for 1 month, 4,276 the next, proving drivers are gaining the system by slowing down at the familiar camera location, speeding up after. Point to Point will enforce the full span of road coverage, not just at one spot of camera. We ask for your support for the passage of the pilot program and the Point to Point system, PG 309-26, and let's get in front of the dangerous driving patterns of dangerous speeding drivers. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Spring. Do you have any questions?
All right, well, thank you very much. That includes testimony for, PG 309. Next one, we're going to PG 312-26. That's the Prince George's County Alcoholic Beverages Class B-SEC Small Event Center.
The bill establishes a Class B small event center for beer, wine, and liquor license in Prince George's County. The license may be issued for a small event center with kitchen and dining facilities accommodating 75 to 125 individuals and allows the on-premises sale of beer, wine, and liquor to attendees. No more than 24 licenses may be issued per year, with a maximum of 3 per state legislative district at any time. Eligible event centers must have a minimum capital investment of $500,000 excluding land, buildings, and leasing, and provide food during operating hours. License holders may sell alcohol according to the same hours and day requirements as the Class B beer, wine, and liquor license. The annual license fee is $3,500.
Okay, thank you so much. This bill was introduced in the County Executive. I'm Terrence Shepherd, the Board of Licensing Commissioners, Mr. Shepherd, and then followed by Jimmy Swaropoulos. I'm gonna get it right one day, Jimmy. Swaropoulos.
Greetings, Chair Williams and Vice Chair Harrison, and members of the House delegation. Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to speak on behalf of this proposed legislation to ensure the county, PGP 12-26. My name is Terrence Shepherd, Director of the Execution for Prince George's County. And as our communities grow and our business landscape evolves and public expectations shift, it is essential that our alcohol regulations keep pace. The goal of these proposals is to create a modern, balanced framework that supports responsible economic development with respect to safety, improves the efficiency and transparency of our regulatory process. These changes are designed to address emerging industry trends, close gaps in existing laws, and reduce unnecessary burdens on small business, and provide clear guidance for license holders and residents. Ultimately, these updates are making sure that the company remains a leader in supporting both communities while being drive. The purpose of this is to create this Class B license to support the growth of small event centers and lounges by providing a flexible license option that reflects each business model. Unlike traditional restaurants, these venues typically operate on an event base or member schedule and do not maintain standard daily hours of operation. This license will allow some establishments to sell beer, wine, and liquor while ensuring that food is available during the operating hours, promoting responsible alcohol service without the burden of meeting all food service restaurant requirements. The goal is to foster local entrepreneurship, expand community access to event spaces, and stimulate economic activity in a way that allows small businesses. Thank you.
Thank you. Jimmy?
Yes,
Okay, does anyone have any questions for Mr. Shepherd? Seeing none, we will move on to the next bill, which is PG 313-26, Prince George's County Alcoholic Beverages Multiple License Prohibition Exception.
The bill has Class B on-sale beer and wine, Class B on-sale beer, wine, and liquor license, the list of alcoholic beverages license, which is prohibition against issuing multiple licenses for the same municipal premises, do not apply.
And this bill is introduced on behalf of the county executive, and Mr. Shepherd here again, you have 2 minutes, Mr. Shepherd.
PG 313, once again, Terrence Shepherd, with the board of license commissioner. So I just want to preface this by saying that a lot of your businesses in Prince George's County, such as TGI Friday, Buffalo Wild Wings, Olive Garden, and Applebee's, do not actually apply to this law because they're listening to these and because of their million-dollar investment, they do not have the restrictions on the license. The reason that was done is because they wanted to promote business, right? They wanted to get more business in the county, so that restriction was removed. However, this does enter our small business licenses, our small business owners, because they are only allowed to have one establishment here in Prince George's County. There are some exceptions, licenses that have a member district, licenses that may have a one license that's in the district of one, in economic development district, as well as in the MLS. They can serve the majority of our small businesses are not allowed to have more than one license for the license. So this bill is aimed at removing that restriction and allowing economic development of small business opportunities.
But is there a requirement that I don't see in the bill that these businesses, although they are small in nature, be required to make certain investment accounts?
any other questions? Okay, seeing none, we will move on to the next bill, which is PG 314-26, Prince George's County Alcoholic Beverages Licenses, Prohibition on Transfer of Class A Beer, Wine, and Liquor License. This bill is presented on behalf of the county executive, Council D.
The bill provides that the Board of License Commissioners, the board of the board prohibits the Board of License Commissioners from approving the transfer or sale of Class A beer, wine, and liquor license. It also requires the Class A license holder to return the license to the board. The license expires when the license holder no longer uses the liquor license. The last year, the bill prohibits the board to reissue that Class A license that is determined in the board of conditions.
Thank you. I see Mr. Shepherd here again, on behalf of this bill. After Mr. Shepherd, I do see, all right, Jenny Garoppolo, Blaine Miller, and Blake Miller, and, Rajaj Gold. If you want to make your way down, that would be good. You have 2 minutes, Mr. Shepherd.
Thank you, Chairman Shepherd, on behalf of the Board of License Commissioners, due to the 1996 prohibition of opening of new liquor stores in Prince George's County, we are currently capped at 142. And just for reference, Prince George's County has about 640 licensees. Some of them are liquor stores, some of them are restaurants, FOP lodges, American Legion posts, hair salons, and even grocery stores are part of that 640. But we are currently capped at the number of 142. And obviously, the population of Prince George's County is growing. And so the estimates are that 63% of the population is African American. With all this in mind, there are currently no Class A licenses in Prince George's County that are owned by African Americans. This bill will prevent current businesses, in some instances, from transferring these licenses outside of their immediate family. If a business owner wanted to sell that business, they would have to set the fair market value, and the board would determine who would have the opportunity to purchase, as opposed to the current transfer process that is in place. And that concludes the testimony. Again, if there's any questions on that, remainder of the testimony.
All right, thank you, Mr. Smith.
That's right. This one, both Blaze and I were a little confused, and so we really just wanted to be here. Background. This one does sound a little scary in the sense that, that small business owners, we're not government employees. We don't have 401k pensions that are funded by any other source besides ourselves. I kind of reckon this to owning a house, having a 30-year mortgage, and at the end, you pay it off, and you're not sure what you can do with it. You should be able to sell your business for fair market value to whoever they want to buy it. Restricting that sounds pretty scary to me. So that's my only comment on that is I do understand, and I've talked tonight with Senator Washington about the lack of black-owned liquor stores, and it is perplexing. Not quite sure why it is, but it just scares me as after 38 years, at some point, I would hope in the near future, I would be able to move on with retirement and not be restricted from how and who I saw my business. Thank you.
Mr. Miller.
Blaze Miller, DP, again, like Jenny, people didn't understand what the bill was trying to address. And both, we discussed it in our organization and SRPA about lack of I'm offered my own land, everything is in my kitchen. And it's more than welcome to assist in that. How we can, there's going to be a possibility that we will list your business online for a month, we get it sold for a month, and so we get, there's a lot of schools get sold right away, and nobody knows about it. And, again, my own business, my own legal license was one of the first ones that originally issued in the state of Maryland, and of course, we kept stuff first written, grandfather. And if I get this bill somehow passed, it restrict me from selling it, I have to get a serious issue. Thank you.
Mr. Gold? Okay, no problem. That's all that I have signed up, for this, colleagues. Are there any questions? No, seeing none, okay, we will move on to PG 315-26, Prince George's County Speed Monitoring Systems, Maryland Route 5.
Bill authorizes the placement of recent speed monitoring systems in Maryland Route 5 in the county. Two, declaring the placement of recent speed monitoring systems in the use of revenue collected and specified in the
Colleagues, this bill was introduced by Delegate Long. We have had this bill in previous years, and so we've heard this bill before and have heard the briefing that has been introduced by Delegate Long for the introduction of this bill. I don't know if folks have any questions. Nope, okay. Well, then we will move on to PG 316-26, Prince George's County Alcoholic Beverages Wine Festival Licenses. Council.
The bill repeals the restriction on the number of wine festival licenses that the Board of License Commissioners may issue annually. Under existing law, the board may only issue one license each year.
Okay, and this bill was introduced by Delegate Taylor. Delegate Taylor, do you want to speak on the bill?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Today, the Maryland National Capital Market Planning Commission is limited to one wine festival each year in Prince George's County. This bill, Prince George's 316-26, seeks to remove that restriction.
Thank you. I have Angela England, sorry. If you could, oh, yeah, there's a mic down on that. Yeah. So you have 2 minutes.
Greetings, Chair Williams, Vice Chair Harrison, the entire Prince George's County delegation. I am Angela England, one of the physicians for the Maryland National Capital Market Planning Commission, Department of Recreation, Prince George's County. About 12 years ago, the Department of Parks and Recreation began hosting a concert in the park series in southern Prince George's County. The concerts featured different genres of music and attendance ranged from 100 people to 1,400 people attending the concerts. The concerts were a fixed time for friends to gather, families to hang out, or even have a date night. People would have blankets, chairs, and cushions, hearing community feedback, and residents' desire for a wine festival. Our research the Department of Parks and Recreation agencies that were hosting wine and beer festivals throughout the country, and there are a number of them. And as a result, in 2015, the Department of Parks and Recreation for the county hosted our first wine festival called Unwine. Since its inception, we've hosted 7 annual wine festivals over the past 7 years, with the exception of one COVID year. Over these same years, there have been other wine festivals held in Prince George's County. There's the fall and the spring Boozy Wine, the Safer Boozy Wine and Music Festival at Blue Town Center, Wine and Lowdown, held at Rose Park Springway, our event at the Festival of the Park. There are also 3 wine festivals that are held at Nashville Park. Our neighboring jurisdictions will more than allow for more than 1 wine festival a year. District of Columbia had more than 5 last year. Charles County had 3 wine festivals with 1 day to 2 days. Howard County had 3 wine festivals with 1, which is Wine in the Woods, a popular one, being held for 2 days. Since our wine festival is traditionally held in September, the Prince George's County enforces the wine festival per year rule. We risk being unable to host an event that has become a valued tradition for the community and local residents. This is the reason why we support this tradition being listed, of not just one wine festival license per year.
Thank you. I also have, Brittany Lasker. And then I have Ms. Locke afterwards.
Greetings, Chair Williams, and the entire Prince County delegation. My name is Brittany Lassiter, and I serve as the Parks and Recreation Community Supervisor for the Maryland National Capital Park and Planning Commission. And testifying as an informational on my festival license bill, PG 31626 LR 1045. This bill repeals a restriction on the number of wine festivals the Board of Licensed Commissioners may issue annually. Under current county rules, only organizers holding a Class C3 or Class C4 license, nonprofit, social, fraternal, or civic organizations, or retail license may apply for a wine festival permit. The county also limits the issuance of only one wine festival license each year in the event not occur within 14 days of the Maryland Wine Festival or conflict with neighboring county states. A hosting retailer or winery is required, and participating wineries must pay additional fees. This structure restricts accessibility and prevents community-serving organizations like the Department of Parks and Recreation from independently offering high-demand cultural events. Yet no resident interest in strong wine-focused events such as those held at the Town Center, the Baystock Stadium, and past festivals in Clinton demonstrate ongoing demand and inconsistent application of the wine festival rules. Across Maryland, counties vary. Montgomery County allows wine festivals on up to 4 weekends per year, while others such as Charles and Anne Arundel maintain a single event limit. These differences highlight that Prince George's County rules are among the most restrictive, particularly given our size and population. Revising Prince George's County's permitting structure, specifically removing the cap on the number of wine festival licenses, will modernize the process, increase accessibility for community organizations, and strengthen our county as a competitive destination for cultural and recreational programs.
All right, next I have Ms. Dr. Cole. Greetings again, delegation members, and the Dr. Cole for the record. I just wanted to let you know we're offering information testimony on this bill and we're going to repeat the bill. I just want to thank the delegation for bringing the bill. The commission is not taking the district of this bill, but we will do so at the next time for hearing. And just wanted to say that the bill in the long run will increase tourism and revenue in the county, and it will actually take real estate and community and college that is consideration of value. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions, Howard? No, seeing none, okay. We will move on to PG 317-26, Prince George's County Alcoholic Beverage.
This bill increases various application, license, permit, and license transfer fees related to alcohol beverages in the county. Roughly 54 fees of increase as of Pleasant.
Thank you, Ms. Bill, introduced on behalf of the county executive, I see Karen Shepherd here. Yes,
Thank you, Madam Chair. Once again, this is Chair Williams and Vice Chair Harrison. Appreciate the opportunity to speak on behalf of the bill. One of the things that I want to let you know is that the last time the licensing fees were increased, sure, absolutely. The last time the fees were increased was in 2017. It's been roughly 9 years. So during that time frame, only a few of the fees were addressed, but there was a backlog in additional fees, and we had to put some fees on. So what we're requesting this time is a 10% increase across the board. And so if you think about the cost of some of these licenses, the very smallest license that we have as it relates to fees is what's known as a Class C, it's a fee, a beer license. And the cost of that license, the yearly charge is $245. So when you take that and you divide it, over 365 days, the annual increase of that license is very, very minimal. Right? And then so also if you look at some of the most expensive licenses that we have, some of those licenses are Northwest Stadium, MGM, Gaylord National. And those are the annual cost of those about $22,000. So when you look at the cost of that, and you divide that by 365 days, the cost per day is like $60 per day for those more expensive licenses. And of course, we have licensing fees anywhere and everywhere in between that $245 as well as that $22,000. So we're respectfully requesting these fees be increased by 10%. As you know, costs are always going up here in Sheriff County. One of the things that we had to do in order to help keep us in line with state mandates is we had to respectfully request that you move forward with this bill. Thank you.
This is for Oakwood. He's a person that will build the question, colleagues. Okay, seeing none, we will move on to PG 318-26, Prince George's County Alcoholic Beverage Licenses Voter Registration.
The bill repeals the requirement that certain alcoholic beverages licenses in the county to require certain individuals to be a registered voter in order to apply for signing a license application for certain entities. The voting requirement applies at the county level and state level, depending on the license that the entity applies for.
I'm the sponsor of this bill, so I put it in this bill just because a couple of years ago, we had removed the requirement that the person who is requesting a license has to be a United States citizen, but we did not remove the requirement that they also have to be a registered voter, and that provision with regards to the registered voter is still in the bill and the statute, and in order to be a registered voter, you have to be a U.S. citizen. And so just to align the bill with, I think, that we had done a couple of years ago, that is the impetus for this bill. So I just urge my colleagues for a favorable vote. With that, the only person I had signed up to testify on this bill was Mr. Mueller, who appears has left. So I'm happy to answer any questions that my colleagues may have. Okay. Okay, all right, seeing none, then we will move on to PG 319-26, Prince George's County Alcoholic Beverages Notice of Issuance of Class C Caribbean Beer Wine and Liquor.
Under existing law, when the Board of License Commissioners issues a Class C Caribbean beer, wine, or liquor license, the board must notify various personnel, including the director of the county's Department of Environmental Resources, as so called in state law. The bill updates the name of the city to the Department of Permitting.
Again, this bill was introduced by the chair. The reason for this bill is just to rename it, so it references DPI as opposed to the previous name of the county agency, which no longer exists. I'm happy, I don't see, oh, there were people signed up on this. Okay, Mr. Gold and Mr. Swaropoulos. I think they're gone. All right, I'm happy to answer any questions colleagues may have. All right, seeing none, that ends all of our bills under law enforcement. We will move on to education. Our next bill is PG 501-26. Our education committee is chaired by Delegate Adrian Buwaso, and our vice chair is Delegate Kim Taylor. And so we will move on to the first bill under education, PG 501-26, Prince George's County Public High School Drug Detection Products.
The bill requires, beginning with 2026-2027 school year, the Prince George's County Board of Education to require each public high school in the county to provide no cost to students drink spiking detection products and drug detection strips. These are terms defined by the bill. These items are required to be made available in schools and health clinics and libraries.
All right, this bill is introduced by Delegate Severis. Delegate Severis, we wish to speak on your bill.
This shouldn't cost anyone anything. There are already members of more, I'm trying to remember the process that we get the Narcan from, but I think we just put in addition to Narcan, we just put in the request to purchase this as well.
Okay, thank you. I have 4 people signed up to testify. Oh, I don't have anyone to testify. Okay. That's it, unless anyone has any questions, colleagues. Okay, seeing none, we will move on to, okay,
PG 502-26, Prince George's County Northwestern High School renaming. Give me a moment as we have visual. Okay, we're going to go down on that 502-26, the council can read the board summary.
The bill requires before the beginning of the 2026-2027 school year, that the County Board of Education rename Northwestern High School located at 7,000 Delaware Road. Be renamed as Northwestern High School.
And this bill was introduced by Delegate Ann Healy, Delegate Healy.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to have this, the first air of this, today. I like to just pray to get into the bill
When I think it might be nice to get red or yellow or gold, something much more colorful like that. It's not easy. See, you blend it in with so many other ordinary things. And people come to pass you over, because you're not standing out like flashy sparkles of water, or stars, and the sky. But green the color spring, and green can be cool and friendly one. And green can be big, like a mountain, or important, like a river, or small, like a tree. Bring green is the colors to be. It could make you wonder why. But why wonder? Why wonder? Why green will be fine. It's beautiful. And I think it's what I want to be.
Sorry about that. The delegate, please, do you have anything additional to add, and then we'll go to the.
Tonight, I don't think you're late. For the record, I'm delegate Nancy Anderson, here to introduce the bill, the very special speech. Rich George Bill 502-26. Related to predating Northwestern High School. Jim Hudson graduated from Northwestern High School in high school in 1954. And I filed this legislation to relate to school of his honor. This was a fitting tribute to the creative genius, cultural impact, and lasting inspiration that Mr. Hudson offers to the world as a way to recognize that this incredible journey began right here in our local community. I represented this community for 35 years, and I played a crucial role in the construction of the new Northwestern High School in 2002. My son is a graduate, his first graduating class in the new building, and like so many of my peers, I had the pleasure of watching my children learn so many skills and values by watching Sesame Street. I believe that it was a really inspiring and publishing gesture to make this high school, which nurtured history and genius after this commencement. Remaining in this honor would not only celebrate the local hero, it would reflect the school district's commitment to creativity, education, and global impact. This becomes a goal themes of kindness, inclusion, diversity, and peaceful coexistence is the way to educate the world. The Sesame Street's multicultural past, the mother's message of acceptance, the travel vision of figurative medicine. He taught generations how to see and value each other. All values are closely aligned with our school system standards for education and cultural influence, the advocacy for dramatic students and professors, and the exhibition of excellence in empathy. The Jim Hudson Foundation Legacy Foundation has a wonderful relationship with the high school, and they work with the Jim Hudson Academy, Division of Performing Arts here for about 20 years. With annual support provided by the Hudson Foundation. Students who attend this school will have us to know that they can share in this legacy of this community, and this very school, which will celebrate its 70th anniversary next year. This tribute will serve as a lasting symbol of Mr. Hudson's vision and generosity of spirit, and recognize him as one of our community's most inspiring and influential men. I welcome your support for this book.
Thank you. I have 4 people, like 5 people signed up for this bill. I have Amy Olivo, well, I guess 4, there's Dalton Moss in here, okay. Reverend Lewis, Anthony Tillman, and Booker Lee. Ms. Olivo?
Thank you so much, Chair Williams, Vice Chair Harrison, Delegate Healy, and all members of the delegation. As you may recall from much earlier in the meeting, I'm Amy Olivo, representing District 4 on the Prince George's County Board of Education. Now that we're in the education section, I just wanted to take a moment to let you know that we're so grateful for the work that you do. For the so many of you who were able to attend our PGCPS Legislative Day this fall, and for your shared commitment to our scholars and school system. That day, at our legislative day tonight, and throughout the legislative session, the Board of Education, our interim superintendent, teachers, staff, parents, and students will remain laser focused on our 4 legislative priorities: supporting students with disabilities, supporting academic achievement for multilingual learners, modernizing construction and facilities for student success, and ensuring safe and secure environments for students and staff. We've reviewed all of your local legislation and have submitted letters on these bills. Regarding the renaming of Northwestern High School, while we really value Delegate Healy's lovely remarks, the Board of Education opposes this bill. This is not something that the students nor the school community has asked for.
PGCPS has a policy in place for reunion schools, and this change will cost the system $1.5 million. Our Board of Education is united and focused on student success. We look forward to working in collaboration with not only the sponsor of this bill, but all of the bills related to local education, to craft stronger bills, identify administrative fixes, identify gaps ahead of the session. And we invite all members of the delegation to reach out to us if you're working on legislation, so that we may be your partners and collaborators in this work. Thank you.
Dr. Marshall, we hear Reverend Wood. No, and then I had Anthony Solomon, but I don't think that he here. Okay, then the really good. Yes, it is.
I want to come up with this. First of all, just say greetings to everybody here. First, I want to say, putting kids first with education at the end of this hearing is outrageous. Look at the place, it's really outrageous because the kids and adults want to come here. This place is really outrageous, so you guys need to really think about how you do this. I was born and raised since 1962, an advocate for over 40 years, and have done stuff free in this county, not paid to do it free. A graduate of Northwestern High School, who feel like this is a slap in my face, legacy, my family legacy at Northwestern High School. It seems so many delegates are all over the place. Got your hands and ideas in school board, in the council, yep, the federal, and know in other counties, stay in your lane as a delegate. Yep, I'm gonna say it, when I say it, when I say amen. Stop using legislation to force the school board to make changes because of an idea you may have. Stop it. You know how many famous and important people have graduated from our schools, including Northwestern, who really invested back into school, including Kevin Durant, whose family has opened his own center. His mom has her own foundation and they do their own thing. Stop expecting us to change our name. Understand the important legacy of changing history for alumni and students at Northwestern, where generations of family have graduated. If you want to do something, open a Jim Henry Purpose Center with allocation bond money you get to have. Ladies and gentlemen, you must truly think outside the box of your decision making and also get community input. Reach out to alumni, reach out to the school community. Thanks for getting the board members. I say no community meetings have to discuss these. Our schools like Northwestern goes across the district. A lot of you represent Northwestern High School, not just her. Our schools go across the district. None of you have reached out to any of us to ask that. Our school represented by so many. I'm humbly asking you to truly withdraw this bill and think another way. Remember his legacy. And I close with money is green also. Where's it coming from to do this?
That's all I have signed up. Are there any questions for me? Yes, go.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My question is for the bill sponsor.
If you could speak to the mic for the people who are watching.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My question is for the bill sponsor. Is there any precedent for the legislature changing the name of the school in the manner in which you're doing it? So could you talk a little bit about that?
Oh, sure. Many years ago, actually Senator Nixon from your district, introduced the bill to name Flowers High School. And I remember very clearly, walking around the high school, he was here at the delegation at the time, and asking people to support the bill. And it passed, and we should have Flowers High School now. Thank you.
Yes, that would be good.
First of all, thank you all so much. Northwest is in 47 yet? My question is to, the alumni, you all just had members as well.
Fifth class reunion. So I don't know when Northwestern is met, but I just found out this information right before Thanksgiving. A board member reached out to me because they knew I was a graduate and was always saying things about health, and they was like, hey, did you need it? And I was like, no. None of our delegates have reached out to us, nothing has been out there, and then everybody has been saying the same thing. And I get it, sometimes we want to change things, but no one has sent this out to the community or the people affected, just all of a sudden a name change, is being put out there, and no one has reached out to the community.
Any other questions? Yes, Delegate Martinez.
It's been mentioned that it's mentioned that PGCBS have a process, but we still have a lot of schools named after folks that were slavers, folks that we shouldn't be proud of, not having been mentioned. So could we talk about where we're at with some of those proposed changes? I know there was a committee at one point that met on Zoom. Are we going to do anything more with them?
Yeah, Delegate Martinez, I think that is a great question. I will say I am still brand new on the board. I'm not sure why that has stalled in the past, other than, I think, quite frankly, because of money. We're basing the $1.5 million cost on the refresh of Lynn Park High School a few years ago. It's not just school signage, but often, gymnasium floors, murals, all of that kind of thing that needs to be updated in the school when schools change. I will share with you that our current policy and governance committee chair, Dr. Felton Moss, and myself are committed to working with interim superintendent Dr. Joseph to continue that process of renaming, because you're exactly right. We do have schools right now that have very troubling names. I'll just share, including the school that my son is at, Walker School.
Delegate Rivera.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm not going to be speaking on the bill. I'll just provide some historical context on the fact that I was the person responsible for putting in the responsible legacy task force that did provide the framework under which we do use to rename buildings, including which was used to name Sonia Sotomayor Middle School and Elena Ochoa Middle School, which were some of the very first buildings that were named under that task force.
Any additional questions? All right, seeing none. All right, we're going to move on to PG 503-26, Prince George's County Board of Education and Board Community College Trustees for Prince George's County vendor registration. This bill was put in, I believe, on behalf of the County Council. So we're going to see Mr. Cooper again. So we're going to do the council first.
The bill requires the Prince George's County Board of Education and the Board of Community College trustees of Prince George's County to accept as a registered vendor the local school system or Prince George's Community College, respectively, any person that is registered as a vendor through the Prince George's County vendor registration process. Additionally, the bill authorizes the Prince George's County Board of Ed and the Board of Community College trustees to enter an MOU with the county to implement the requirements of the bill.
Thank you. Reed Chair Williams, Vice Chair Harrison, members of the Prince George's County House Delegation. Once again, for the record, my name is Gerard Cooper, and I'm here on behalf of the Prince George's County Council to request your support for PG 50326, Prince George's County Board of Education, Board of Community College Trustees of Prince George's County Building Legislation. Similar to PG 40426 and PG MC 10726, this legislation is designed to streamline and simplify the procurement process for business seeking to contract with public institutions in Prince George's County. Specifically, it ensures that any business registered as a vendor with Prince George's County government will automatically be recognized as a registered vendor by both the Prince George's County Board of Education and the Board of Community College Trustees. By eliminating duplicate registration requirements, this bill establishes a unified vendor registration system across county government, the public school system, and community college. In essence, PG 50326 promotes efficiency, equity, and accessibility of public contracting by creating a single county-wide pathway for businesses to engage in procurement opportunities. This legislation is a practical step toward implementing coordinated procurement policies and expanding economic opportunities throughout Prince George's County. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. I also have Leo signed up for this bill.
Thank you again, Chair and Delegates. Amy Weaver on behalf of the Prince George's County Board of Education. This is informational testimony on this particular bill. The Prince George's County Board of Education is incredibly supportive of increasing local minority vendors with the school system. We absolutely want to be more business friendly. We would very much like to work with the sponsor of the bill to ensure that vendors meet the additional steps that PDCPS requires in order to keep our children safe, such as background checks and child protective services checks that we require in our vendor system, that other entities such as the Prince George's Community College, because they're mostly working with adults, don't have those requirements. And so we very much like to work on that to ensure that we're continuing to protect our children as needed. Thank you.
Are there any questions, colleagues? Yes, Vice Chair Harrison.
Thank you, Mr. Cooper. Has there been a conversation with the Prince George's Community College Board of Trustees on this?
We have been communicating with the Prince George's County School Board and the trustees in the interest of that, in the process, looked at those standards.
Okay, so you haven't really had a full discussion on this, what their requirements are and their position. I'm speaking specifically for the board of trustees.
We reached out to that office and we are in constant communication. We are open to having a conversation with that. Our office is reached out to that office to ensure that we have.
Any other questions? Okay, so there hasn't been a conversation, but they're willing to do so without legislation.
Separate question, we have not had that specific conversation, the chair will just, that is correct.
Okay, thank you. Seeing no other questions, I will move on to PG 504-26, Prince George's County Teen Pregnancy Support Program and fee and child support is established.
The bill establishes the Prince George's County Teen Pregnancy Support Program. Under the bill, the Prince George's County Board of Education is required to provide assistance to students who are expecting to become or have become a parent to a child while attending public high school in the county, including providing resources that support first-time parents. The bill also requires that a certain court in Prince George's County to collect $100 fee for certain child support cases. The revenues from the fee are remitted quarterly to Prince George's County Board of Education to support the program.
This bill is introduced by Delegate Severis. Delegate Severis, if you want to provide a summary of the bill.
Well, I think,
If you want to talk about the bill.
yeah, I just want to update on what's going on with the bill. I think that there was some mistakes, there were some issues on this particular version of the bill. And this bill will now, there are 3 specific amendments that the bill will be doing prior to the hearing, which is that we need to include that up to 15% of all revenues gathered will be up to 50% will go to district costs of the management of the program. Divorce cases should be included for capturing the funds, as well as there's a possibility to exist that these will be waived under hardship cases per state statute.
I do see Ms. Olivo has signed up to testify on this bill.
Good evening again, delegates and your leader on behalf of the Board of Education. As you know, the written testimony was due last week, and in that letter, the Board of Education shared our concern of unfunded requirements and subsequent conversations with the sponsor. We understand, as she just stated, that her goal is to ensure that there are funds to administer this program, and so I wanted to, further amend or clarify on our letter that we look forward to working with her as we certainly support the intent of this legislation.
Thank you. Are there any questions?
All right, seeing no questions, thank you very much. That actually concludes our bill hearing for today. That is the last bill on our agenda. If there are no other matters, we are adjourned.
Is there any way to get down without walking?
Sorry?
Is there a way to get down without walking all the way down?
You can, walk to the other side of the building and take the elevator down. Yeah, there's no way to get out of here without walking up.